Good evening. I would like to call to order the Apopka City Commission meeting for August 19th, 2026, 6 p.m. I'd like to recognize Commissioner Anderson and her selection for the invocation this evening.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me just great pleasure and it's an honor to introduce Pastor Richard King. He is the president of the South Apopka Ministerial Alliance, a first generation Apopkan, has done a lot in the community, have been around the Apopka community of ministry for over 30 years, responsible for the employment of a lot of people in Apopka, and just give me great honor to introduce him. Pastor Richard King.
Please, let's all stand, please.
Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we bless your name. We give you glory and we give you praise. You are the one that caused us to live, move, and have our being. And so we honor you. We pause now to say thank you for allowing us to live in this great city called Apopka. We ask you now, God, in the strong and powerful name of Jesus, to bless our mayor and all of the commissioners and everybody who would have a part in making this city the best that it can be. I know you're able, God, and I know you can. And I pray, oh God, in this meeting as they deliberate, I pray that you would allow them to do it unselfishly and allow that every decision that they make to bring glory and honor to your name. And I ask you, God, I ask you because you told us to ask. I ask you to allow every decision they make to create peace and not hate. I ask you, God, to let every decision they make to bring unity and not division in this great city. I know you can, and I know you will. I pray this prayer in Jesus' name, and the people of God said, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor King. Commissioner Anderson, if you can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
You may be seated. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our public comment period. Before we say names, I just want to make sure everyone gets comfortable. Please. All right, please.
Nikki McGuire. Nikki McGuire, Naomi Kids, Apopka. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and everyone here tonight. Thank you for this opportunity that I do not take for granted. Our mission is simple: to protect the minds of today's children in order to help them become tomorrow's leaders. When a child has a mentor, a fresh outfit for school, a safe summer program, or a holiday food basket for their family, the impact reaches far beyond one moment. It builds confidence, it builds connection, it builds a stronger Apopka. At Naomi Kids, we see every gift as a way to tell a child you matter. A $30 mentoring session can encourage a child to keep going. Just $10 a month can help reach a $100 back to school goal. Even $2.50 a week helps cover a week of summer program support next year. And a one-time $20 gift can help fill a family holiday food basket with comfort and care. What makes this work so powerful is that everyone can take part. Some give money, some give items, and some give their time. However, you choose to help, you are lifting a child, encouraging a family, and investing in our community. Please come talk to me before you say no. So tonight, I want to say thank you for believing in our young people. Thank you for believing in families, and thank you for helping us keep hope in motion. Together, we can keep Apopka strong, connected, and full of opportunity for every child. If you look on your screen, our phone number and website to make donations or sign up to volunteer is there. Please remember, together in hope, together in community, together for children, because we can do it better together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McGuire.
Thank you, Dr. Moyer.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners,
Good evening.
audience. My name's Dr. Jim Moyer. I'm the elected Orange Water Conservation District 2 Supervisor, and this presentation is mine and mine alone. First, I want to thank the Mayor, Commissioners, and the city for allowing the Orange Water Conservation District Board of Supervisors for meeting here last week. Thank you. Saving. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Save a few drops, save money, stop a few pollutants, and together we can make a big difference. The purpose of the Soil and Water Conservation Districts is to work in conjunction with other governmental entities like the City of Apopka in implementing land and water resource protection practices by assisting, guiding, and educating the public. Thanks to the City of Apopka for initially allowing me to have office hours here. Since then, I've made arrangements for office hours in Eatonville, in Zellwood for the county, and in Ocoee. So thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners and City. The services, as was previously mentioned, will be one-on-one assistance with personalized soil and water conservation and pollution prevention plan, discuss water conservation tips to save money and save our water, eliminate natural resources, suggestion you can do to prevent pollution of Northwest Orange lakes and water bodies. As I've been saying for quite some time now, I believe in and I'm promoting the 3 C's. Number 1, change habits. Number 2, conserve water use. Number 3, clean water bodies. I hope to see everyone tomorrow, which is the third Thursday of the month, tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here, over here in the Ed Bass Conference Room. Thank you for your time, and God bless all of you for everything you do.
Thank you, Dr. Moyer.
Thank you, sir. Rod Olson.
Rod Olson, 3156 Orland Hills Lane. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I've spent much of my professional career organizing with people, policies, budgets, and responsibilities. I've learned one simple lesson. When everyone does what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it, we have good outcomes. And when they don't, leadership is responsible to find out why and fix it. My message tonight is simple. It's on leadership and accountability. Ken Blanchard, one of the most respected leadership leaders, had this quote, catch people doing something right, end quote. I agree. Good leadership is not simply finding fault. It is recognizing good performance, developing people, correcting problems, and holding people accountable. I believe the principle applies to the city of Apopka. It certainly applies to Eric and Daniel. I had a water meter issue. They came over, not only took the time to fix it, they explained to me the whats and whys when I asked my questions. First comment today is a public comment. There's nothing more important than local government than the citizens' right to speak. We may disagree. You may disagree with me. I may disagree with you. That's democracy. But public comment must be treated as an important part of the process, not as an inconvenience. Please protect our right to speak to you. Second area I want to talk about is budget. Every dollar in this budget belongs to us citizens. This is our money. I believe every cost center should be justified. Every existing position needs to be reviewed. Every new proposed position needs to be justified. The historical spending should be reviewed, not simply last year's budget regurgitated, or as someone told me, wash, rinse, repeat, which is what it's been. Department heads should be accountable for results in their departments. And once the budget is adopted, the budget should be the budget, except when there's a genuine emergency, an act of God, or a life safety issue. If we continually don't perform to our budget, we don't really have a budget. Historically, we haven't. What we have is uncontrollable spending. Accountability isn't about punishment. Accountability is about making sure that the people, departments, and elected officials do what they are responsible for doing and do it right. Catch people doing something right, recognize them, develop them. And when something isn't right, have the courage to address it. That's leadership. Thank you for your time and thank you for your service to Apopka.
Thank you, Mr. Olson.
Thank you, sir. Valerie Sparkman.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
2 weeks ago, on August 5th, I stood before this commission and told you what happened to my business, just like Mama's. A city code enforcement officer told me the work on my restaurant had to stop and that I needed a permit. I complied. My building sat dormant, my opening was delayed, and I lost thousands of dollars. The city later investigated its own investigation and found that the officer did not have the authority to issue a stop work order, and that the interior work I was doing did not require the permit I was told to obtain. And after those findings, that same employee was named the city's civilian of the year. That what bothers me the most. Those are not rumors or assumptions. Those are the city's own records. Mayor Nestor, when I spoke here on August 5th, you publicly said that you would dig into this and get back with me by the end of that week and meet with me. That Friday, you told me you were still working on it and you would seek an update from legal on Monday. I waited and I heard nothing. The following Thursday, I reached out and you told me to call you. I called, you did not answer. I text you to let you know that I had called and asked when should I call back. Today is August 19th. I have heard nothing since. There is something deeply disappointing about making a commitment to someone publicly and then failing to communicate with that person privately. But this is bigger than a phone call. At some point, government has to stop looking for the next technical argument, loophole, or reason why nothing can be done, or ask a much simpler question. What is the right thing to do? The officer did not have the authority. The permit was not required. I complied with what the city employee told me because I believed him and I trusted him. My mom this is not in my notes, but my mom is a retired correction officer and we follow the rules. Before she was correction officer, we followed the rules. So I trusted him. My business lost valuable time and thousands of dollars. The city investigated it. Internal Affairs, the city of Apopka. How many more facts do we need before someone simply says, this was wrong? She was harmed. We need to make it right. I came here because this is a new administration and I got all my people behind me. But a new administration cannot simply inherit an old administration's legal posture, but this matter on a legal put this matter on a legal autopilot and call that accountability. If this administration wants the opportunity to show the community what the accountability looks like, what better case than mine? Extending my time to my mom. Okay. At some point, leadership has to mean more than asking whether the legal argument that protects the city. It also has to mean doing right by the people that the city serves. And I was born and raised here. So that's why I opened my restaurant here. Most of my clients clientele is in Lake County, but I opened it in Apopka. That's also not in my notes, but I wanted to add that. What is this administrator going to do about what his own city has already found? And Mayor Nelson, even though through all of this, I have continued to speak about you with respect. I have not come here to tear you down. I wanted to believe that when you stood here and gave me your word publicly, you meant it. And I still want to believe that. But respect cannot be one-sided, and accountability cannot only exist in public. I'm not asking for another public promise tonight. I'm asking for a follow-through on the promise already made. I am asking for the real, immediate action to be taken on this case that is clear and proven. I will continue speaking the truth, standing for what is right, and above all, trusting God through this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sparkman.
Mhm.
So I do want to comment, if that's okay. So I know that when you left, you weren't able to probably hear the discussion we actually had with the attorney. And one of the decisions that the council made was that we all would individually meet with the attorney. And I know that from the email that I received from that law office is that the mayor did schedule an appointment for all of us to meet, different times for us to meet. And I'm meeting next week with the attorney. I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure everyone else received the email, but I know I'm scheduled to meet with the attorney because they want us to actually speak with the attorney that's handling it so we can kind of know what we could do next. So I do know that there is something in it, something going on. The mayor actually, from my understanding and from the email, it was a email that was set up. So okay. Told me that. Okay.
And it's a delicate, because it's active litigation, we have to be delicate with it, as do you. And so by no means is that an excuse at all.
Mm-hmm.
And we were traveling last week, again, not an excuse, but that was part of that. So we are still digging in actively. My understanding is that commissioners are meeting with the attorney representing us in that case, and as am I. So we're getting updates because I want to be able to speak knowledgeably about it. And it's not as quick as I thought it would be. So I apologize.
So, thank you, Ms. Bell. Good job.
I haven't scheduled yet.
You haven't scheduled yet?
No, I haven't.
Last week was a whole thing. I just scheduled it.
Albert McKimmy, 3603 Golden Gem Road. It's somewhat ironic that earlier tonight we had a meeting to do with the pioneering agreement. The problem that I have with that is that where are the experts that we depend on that the city employ? Recently, we had quasi-judicial meetings. The attorney was instructed to inform you what had to be considered at a quasi-judicial meeting. At a quasi-judicial meeting, you cannot listen to opinion or comment. It has to be expert witnesses, competent and substantial evidence. So, commissioners, when you take that competent and substantial evidence, who's giving it? Is it Jean Sanchez? Is it Vladimir? Because as far as I'm concerned, neither of them are qualified to do that. Vladimir may be an engineer, but he works in sanitation and water. he has very little knowledge of roads. So that who's supplying you with competent and substantial evidence? Are you making decisions based on opinion? Because if you're listening to the opinion of those people who are giving it, that is opinion. They're not qualified. So, in future, we really need to either have an expert witness here to talk on the traffic, or we're going to have to employ someone within the city who has the knowledge. And let's be honest about it. We wouldn't find ourselves in the mess that we're in just now with all the road infrastructure if, when the lady who left 3 years ago had been replaced. Now, that's not something that's the fault of any of you people here. But again, I get frustrated. I get really frustrated because you see, you might not be able to change things, but you can ask questions. And the fact of the matter is, the reason I'm frustrated is because there's obvious questions that needs to be asked. Tonight, the obvious question was, what happens, what if? And nobody in the dais asked that during that meeting. It was just passed over. We really need to be doing a whole lot better than we do just now. You need to go home and do homework and look at reports. If I can find it, you can find it. And we need to have competent and substantial evidence provided on transportation, not opinion.
Thank you, Mr. McKimmey.
Sylvester Hall.
Oh, happy day. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sylvester Hall, Rock Springs Ridge. I posted a comment on social media, and it read, Mayor Nestor is not moving the city of Apopka forward in the right direction. His decision making, his priorities, and lack of wisdom is very concerning to me. That particular post brought some interesting feedback from the community, especially the movement. I was called everything but a child of God. My reputation was attacked. So what did Sylvester do? I posted it on my Facebook page for everybody to see. Because one thing you can do, you can try to destroy somebody's reputation of what you think about them, but you can't destroy my character. My character is who I am, and I stand on that. So I had no problem sharing that with everybody, so they can see all the nice things the mayor said, the most said about me. Sylvester think he's the smartest guy in the room. No, but I try not to be the dumbest. So with that said, here's why I say those things. We had no problem when Brian Nelson came in and he did an audit. Had no problem doing it. Matter of fact, the mayor ran on that audit. Everybody sitting on this council here has the power to make a motion for a forensic audit. So if you're serious about moving the county in the right direction, moving the city in the right direction, that would have been done already. So that's why I say what I say. If you're serious about moving the city in the right direction, knowing all the things that happened during the last 8 years, it would be paramount for you to do that. But you didn't do that. The city administrator's position, that's been open for I don't know how long. We didn't come in and we didn't address that right away. I want to know why. Paying your former campaign manager $360,000 a year. That was a proposal. What is in his resume that warrant $360,000 a year? It's mind-boggling to me. So that's why I said what I said. Public comment. I just watch y'all, you in particular, vote against raising it from 3 minutes to 4 minutes. Guess you don't want to hear Sylvester, but that's something you campaigned it on. Just reminding you, our firefighters go around to some of the firefighters' sleeping arrangement. They sleeping in an open bay. If my wife had to sleep at that fire station, it would be all hell. She's got to sleep in an open bay. These are things that should be addressed, but we don't do that. So when I look at now we got a hiring freeze that should have been done before we did the PID. I look at the police officers. I look at some of the firefighters. I look at what they're being paid to go out and put their life on the line every day. And then somebody can walk in and you can give them $180,000. That's why I say what I say. It's time for real leadership and it's time for change. And if you cut the 3 minutes, that's fine. But I'll be coming soon to a podcast near you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Uh, before my time, on this agenda, what you present, Mayor, will the public get a chance to speak on that?
Under business?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. With that said, Leroy Bell, Apopka. I like to echo what Sylvester said. Yeah, the mold kind of jumped all on me that I'm out harvesting ballots and this because I agreed with Commissioner Anderson when she said about, matter of fact, she said the hiring freeze at first, and guess what? You guys finally came together, and that's done. The rest of the time, I want to use to let you know that I stand with Just Like Mama. Her mother, and I see a few more here, we are classmates. I noticed that one of the guys was on the transition team. He liked to tell people that he been here for 30 years. I've been here, I know, for 57, and I think the pastor was born here. And Betty was here before I was. Lucille was here before I was. These people have invested in this community. I understand that you're going to meet with the lawyer and stuff, but we got a lawyer sitting right here. A lawyer is not a boss. A lawyer is an employee. A lawyer do what he told to do. Am I right? No. I'm not. Well, I tell you what. If they go and tell the lawyer,
Mr. Bell, please address
okay,
us in
well,
home.
well, you get your advice over here. What you need to do, you need to go meet with the lawyer and tell the lawyer and make it straight. You don't need. You can call him in here and tell him to settle with Just Like Mama. I believe if it was anybody up there on 5th Street, up at Propagate, you would have been settled with them long time ago. So what it's time to be fair on both sides. If we are the one to bring the suit, we are the one that can stop the suit. And and I can understand Cliff Shepard, he's gonna say what he needs to say anyway, because he needs this $40,000 a month. But again, what needs to be said is this lady needs to be made whole. And you need that not do it tomorrow. Well, you can do it tomorrow because I think business day closed. Call him in and tell him to straighten it for this lady.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Mayor Bell.
We're ready. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and community. My name is Mary Bell. Everybody knows me by Mabel. I'm the president of our museum. I am here tonight because many community members have reached out to me with deep concerns regarding the conduct of our city council meetings and how it is impacting our community's history and reputation. I am a firm believer in the First Amendment. However, maintaining a 3-minute limit does not diminish the right. It protects it by ensuring the same window of time for every resident, regardless of their position. During the last city council meeting, council member Mrs. Baron requested an extra minute to be added to public speaking time. Mrs. Baron, I'm going to call you Yesenia, okay? I hope you are well rested after your conference. Well, I respect that your request was made in good faith to move forward with critical discussions for our city. The community has responded with concern. Their concern is not about the clock. It is about the tone. At this moment, extending public comment will not be viewed as an act of generosity. It will be viewed as a reward for the lack of decorum, personal attacks, and disrespect we have all sat through lately. This podium is where a city must hold itself to a higher standards. So I ask all of you, what exactly will be rewarding tonight, given what all of us have witnessed at these meetings? I am asking for your support to keep the limit at 3 minutes or to rescind the motion to extend it. An extra minute currently feels like a reward for bad behavior. Let us do the work within that time we already have. When we see all of us consistently using those 3 minutes to bring solutions rather than grievances, that is when this conversation is worth having again. Please remember, these meetings are streamed on YouTube for the world to see. Anyone can click on the city's Apopka channel and see what we allow and what we choose to showcase as our city's character. I am grateful for all of your service, and I am here to help move the city forward.
Thank you, Ms. Sprinkle. Those are the only, or the cards that we have so far for public comment. Is there anybody else from the public that has not submitted and would like to? Please.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I am here again on behalf of Compassion and Apopka. Um, my basic concern right now is the heat index. The heat index is sending some of my unhoused friends to the hospital from heat exhaustion. I am passing out water nonstop. I am aware of and I have made them aware of the cooling centers that are available, and the transportation needs that are there for them on the Lynx buses, and have given them the locations of where they can go. In this area, we basically have two locations. One is at the Bridges Center, and the other one is at the public library. Those are the only two locations that we have. um, I would be very thrilled if we had another location. Those locations, they they have no means of showering if they need to take a shower. It is hot. I'm driving around with 15 or 20 shirts that I'm passing out a day to people, maybe a 40 pack of water every day. It is exhaustion. They're just sheer exhaustion. They're hot in the day, and at night, they can't sleep. And so I have seen how it's wearing on them. So I ask you please to continue to support Compassion in Apopka through the means that you have been doing. And I appreciate the donations that you have sent from Amazon, and also through the clothing donations that you have offered to me. I ask you to continue to support and try to double down on it. I am going to be ordering some cooling cloths, and they come in a pack of 30, and they're about $50 for a pack of 30. So if I could get some assistance with doing that, I would be greatly appreciative. This Sunday, we will be having National Waffle Month celebration at Just Like Mama's. for the unhoused, where we will have chicken and waffles. If you are interested in donating or interested in volunteering, I just please contact me and I'll be glad to point you in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Mrs.
again,
Chair.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak at this time? All right, we will close public comment. Thank you for all that participated. We'll move on to the approval of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes. Are there any questions, changes, adjustments that need to be made on either set of those minutes? Hearing none, I'm going to look for a motion to approve the 2 sets of meeting minutes as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Anderson. Second by Commissioner Ruth. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Mr. Williams, any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor. Business item number 5, the applicant has requested a continuation again to the September 2nd, 2026 meeting.
Okay, so we'll need to make a motion for that once we get there.
Correct.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you. All right, no presentations, correct? We'll move on to consent. If there's no questions for consent, I will look for a motion to approve the utility upsizing agreement for Everly Ondich.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Anderson,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to this item number 1, it is the corrected language that we discussed for the City Commission rules and order of business. Before we jump into this, I'm going to ask everybody, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. We're going to work together on this. We'll get through it. So, is there any changes that need to be made from what was discussed last week as presented now?
Well, I saw that you didn't indicate a time and, wait a minute, let me just get to that. City Commission, first one. Did you indicate, this says manner of addressing commission, time limit?
You just strike through because we're gonna be changing it. It's on there. Yeah. I don't think an extra time was inserted in that. I
Right,
think it's
there
just,
was no time.
I think it's just gonna follow the
Point to, are you able to reference where you're speaking or what you?
No, that's it.
Page
just
2.
Page
page
2.
2 of 5.
Oh, yes. So we just read it. It was, we changed it to that it will match the public participation policy and procedures. Is that okay, or you don't want to?
Yeah, that's what we, I
Okay.
think that's what we said, right?
Okay.
So that we have to keep.
Because then coming up next, this item number 2, we're going to take another deep breath before that one,
Mhm.
and we'll adjust that. And for that one specifically too, before we get there, we'll do similar to what we did here. Adjust it, and then it'll be brought back to finalize the adjustments so that it's not just on the fly. You'll be able to see it again and review it. So any other questions specific to this item? Okay, I will open up to public for any public comment on the City Commission rules and order of business. No public comment. If you have public, I can't necessarily hear what you're saying. Sorry.
That's also to do with the time also, right?
Of the meetings themselves?
For the,
Oh, for public comment.
yeah,
No, that'll be
Oh.
the next one.
okay.
Sorry. Any other public comment at this time? All right, I'll close public comment. Look for a motion to approve the City Commission rules and order of business as written.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Barron, second by Commissioner Ruth. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next up is the review of resolution number 2025-19, public participation policies and procedures. This one is obviously it was brought up by 2 commissioners to adjust and update to obviously our changing city. So wanted to make sure that we did it properly. I want to go and make sure we're not just doing pieces of it, but truly updating it to what we're looking at. So I know there was concerns of a time limit built into that this resolution, as well as time limit being the total amount of time for public comment. That was built into that I heard that wanted to be adjusted,
Mhm.
as well as the time limit per person wanted to be adjusted. Is there anything else? Well, I guess please let me know what adjustments we need to make. We can go line by line and get those adjustments made. Mr. Williams will take notes, and then we'll bring it back for your final approval.
So I guess it was the 3 minutes to the 4 minutes. And I just want to just address some of the comments. Well, one particular comment that was made in regards to keeping it 3 minutes because of, unfortunately, it's depending on who the attacks are going towards, then they want to limit it to 3 minutes. But when it's favorable for one person or one group, so it needs to be. I'm actually glad we are adjusting this policy, and that we will implement, a time policy that will extend the time from 3 minutes to 4 minutes, because you do see the need when people come up and do presentations and presenting something, they try to rush it and they really want to, to present it. So I've heard it, a lot of people come in, actually said something about it for the past, at least for the past 6 months. People have definitely been saying something about it. So that's one of the reasons why I actually did make the motion. And unfortunately, uh, I do hear, the comments that was made, but it just can't be one sided. And I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Is there any other? I know the 4 minutes. Is there anything other specific to this?
Just a general time.
The 30
The
minutes,
30 minutes.
and then the 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
As well.
Yes. Mhm.
Any other comments from the dais of it? Any other changes that need to be made to this?
For such a long time, because I have the entire package here where we were without public comment. And we started this. Here it is. The first time that we started this was February 1st, 2023. The previous administration changed the public comment to the end of the agenda and did not make a presentation to the city council for discussion or approval. And this went on for I don't know how long, but here are all the dates that I have, because I kept the entire package here. On 8/7, directed by the mayor without consulting commissioners, 8/7/2024. It was a 3-2 vote. You kept making the motion, and I would second, and it kept going 3-2, 3-2, 8/21, 2024, 11/6, 2024, 11/20, 2024. Under my report on January 15th, 2025, I requested to consider the comment section, and let me see where that went. I even wrote an email to our attorney in March of 2025. Here are all the failed votes. When the mayor finally gave in, and all the time you were doing the public comments on your own at the end, after the adjournment, and we would all sit here while the live feed was no longer going. And the only time we ever wanted was to bring public comment back. The mayor finally did it on May 1st. And then 2 weeks later, he filed for office, to run for office again. And at that time, he again presented a different rules that you obviously, the ones that we have now. It was never brought before us, the rules of decorum. He just presented it to us, and we did what we did, and he went from 3 minutes, and I remember there was a lot of discussion from 4 minutes to 3 minutes, to include how the minutes were going to be prepared, if you could remember that. And I think it went from like 5 words to, I don't know, 3 words, and we finally settled on 10 words that would kind of give a. And so here we are in the new leadership, and the same commissioners that did not give consideration to the public are now asking for 4 minutes, and they haven't really said why 4 minutes. Since January, we've been having 3 minutes, and I feel that the 3 minutes, I feel like the 3 minutes have been enough, and I think we've been running a very good public comment session. You have not cut anyone off. Our previous leadership would cut our speakers off by shutting the mic off at 3 minutes. and or tell them that they were done at 3 minutes. And I feel like we've been allowing them to continue to speak. So I'm at this time I prefer the 3 minutes, because the 4 minutes, I know that Commissioner Barron was the first one who brought that up, probably in her second meeting, and you just wanted another minute, but there was no reason behind it. It was just, let's bring it back to 4 minutes. Commissioner Anderson made the motion at the last commission, and I just don't see where the 4 minutes, I don't know what the purpose is. I think that we've been running a really good public meeting. Our intention when we have these council meetings is to do the business of the city, and that's important to me. I have sat here where the business of the city, those who come in, even the residents who come in concerned about what's on our agenda, what's going to affect them, has to sit through the entire public comment session, and sometimes it's over an hour. And I don't think that that's fair to the public who actually comes in to do the business of the city. You
May
wanna
I?
go first?
Thank
Sure.
you. No, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Commissioner, Vice Mayor. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I sat in the audience as well, and I watched and I listened and I saw the request to bring our public comments from 3 minutes to 4 minutes. And it was, my purpose behind that is basically to provide opportunities for those that generally have a comment in terms of issues that are they're experiencing, can bring that to us in a not in a rushed manner. Because Miss Valerie alone, she came to us and she's nervous. A lot of people can't, Miss Sparkman from Just Like Mama. A lot of people aren't very good at public speaking. It takes some time for them. Other people, it's natural. It absolutely, they'll take the 4 minutes, not a problem. But my point behind that was to make sure that we are providing people enough time to breathe and get to their point and share their concerns, their issues that they're experiencing, and that we as a dais are listening to that. Now, am I don't condone the decorum. We need to make sure that we are generally moving our city forward, that we are providing our city in a better light, because we deserve that. Our city deserves it. We deserve to move forward. We deserve to get past what has been done in the past and move forward. Now, granted, is it going to be done overnight? Absolutely not. It's going to take time. I understand that and respect that completely. The reason why I brought that up, the reason why I brought the 4 minutes up was, again, to provide an opportunity for those that are generally wanting to bring their concerns to us not in a rushed manner. But I also got phone calls and text messages from people were similar to the message that Ms. Mabel had provided to us in terms of providing rewarding bad behavior. That's not the intention, not at all. Intention is to generally give an opportunity for our residents to present their issues and their concerns to us in a timely manner and not feel rushed. That was my only purpose behind it.
So I want to respond to that. In the previous leadership, I felt that our public did not feel valued, did not feel respected. They were cut off. They took the public comment away from them. In this new administration, that has not been occurring. And so, because it has not been occurring, I want to continue with the 3 minutes, because we are allowing them to speak and to finish their thought. And I don't feel 4 minutes is just going to add more time away from from conducting the business of the city. I
Thank you.
feel that we are reacting to having 4 minutes from experiences from the previous leadership. But I have found that since we have been sitting here, we have not cut anyone off. We have not turned off the live mic. We have been very respectful of everyone that has come up here.
I agree 100%.
So changing it from 3 minutes to 4 minutes isn't changing how we are reacting to our public.
So, so I just kind of want to just clear some things up. I don't remember when we completely removed public comment. So when was public comment removed? You said it was removed. So I don't ever remember on the agenda that public comment was removed. So when was public comment removed?
It was removed.
There was never a time when public comment was removed.
It was removed
So
from the beginning of the council.
so it wasn't
meeting.
removed, it was rearranged, not removed. Removed meaning that they couldn't speak at all. So it was rearranged. So it was never removed.
Rearranged, and they took the live
So
feed off.
rearranged and removed is two separate things. So
Okay,
public
so
comment
rearranged.
was never removed. It was rearranged. So we want to be definitely clear when we speak because in
But
that's
how
true.
many times
But that's
did
actually against the law. But I want to make sure that we cannot create the narrative that the last administration removed public comment. You are clearing that up, that it wasn't removed, correct? It was rearranged.
rearranged?
Okay, thank you. All right, so public comment was rearranged at one point. And what's interesting is that respectfully, you said 3-2, that you was advocating for it to be 4 minutes.
No.
So no. You said that you was advocating. You said it was a 3-2 vote, right? That's what you said. It's 3-2 votes.
Never talked about the
You
minutes.
said 3-2 votes.
Three
Three
to
to 2, and you had an issue with it. So my concern is this here, and I think that sometimes when it comes to being an elected official, is that it's okay to change your opinion and change your mind when you have additional information. And if the community, and what I'm seeing here is that unfortunately the elephant in the room is that with the previous administration, the previous mayor, when he would come, when things were said against him, then it was okay for extended time. However, now certain things is being said from the previous mayor. It's like, okay, we want to limit to 3 minutes. We're not gonna give them 4 minutes. And my thing is that the reason why this policy was created is one of the things where it can be fair no matter what the comment is. Because depending on, what the issue is, there's going to be things that none of us want to hear. But to limit public comment or to limit the time because we're disagreeing with the message is just, that's not what freedom of speech is. That is trying to control someone's speech and to could limit their speech. We want to make sure that we're not limiting speech. And if they're asking for 4 minutes, then I think we should give them what they're asking for. It's additional minute. So I'm completely for the additional minute. They have asked for an additional minute. And of course we're still doing, because to be honest, we used to be in here for almost, 2 hours with public comments, with screaming and shouting and things, saying things that wasn't nice. And at no time did you advocate for city business. So I just think it's just, just kind of, doesn't really show a genuine concern for city business. If we're listening to the residents saying they want more time to speak, I think we definitely should give them more time to speak. So I'm 100% for the 4 minutes.
So now with chapter 286, section 0114 for public meetings, reasonable opportunity to be heard. It says members of the public shall be given reasonable opportunity to be heard on proposition before a board or a commission. It just says reasonable.
And reasonable for me is 4, reasonable for you is 3. So we vote on it and we see, what the council, everybody has a,
Exactly. So I have my opinion.
and I have mine.
Right. But what I brought from the previous leadership, and you are correct in one thing, the public comment was removed from the beginning of the
Rearranged.
was removed from the beginning of the city council meetings, and it was put at the end after the city council was adjourned, and then there was no live feed. So whether it was rearranged or removed, the public never had access. The public that tunes in never had access to the public comment section.
But that's not, no, that's not what we're discussing. Right? We're just discussing 3 minutes to 4 minutes. We already addressed it already. They have, that's not, I mean, we don't talk about, I mean, we've had issues in the
We
past.
can go around in circles.
I was just about to say,
That's all.
we can relitigate this
Yeah.
every day. all
Every day.
day.
I don't want to just,
all
let's
day.
move forward. I mean,
Yeah.
Is there
so-
any other final comments from the dais at this point?
No.
All right. I would like to open up to public comment, please.
Commissioner Diane, you said the very, you got to the heart of this thing. You said city business. City business is not y'all guys' business. It's the public business. And I'll be remiss if I didn't remind you that you was the one that made the motion that the mayor could change, go into the public record and change whatever was spoken at this podium. Here's the thing. We got developers coming in here. We got developers on impact fees that we listen to developers, we get them, we bending over backwards to the point that right now, even on the transition team that we said and we talked about, that they're getting rewarded in a way that they shouldn't be getting rewarded. And I know that you're going to take care of this. Here's the thing. What about rewarding the public? A minute. What is a minute? 60 seconds. What is it about 60 seconds that you don't want to hear from the public? Well, and another thing on this policy, this is the reason that you got staff said here that when public get up and ask a question, that's the reason you got the lawyers and everybody sitting here, that when you got a question you ask and you get the answer for it. Oh, no, I asked a question a few minutes ago. Oh, no, talk to the diocese. I had a legitimate question. But it's not about the diocese. It's about the public. Because if the public went on a strike or boycott and shut their purse, you wouldn't get paid. We the one that paying you a salary. And what you need to do, you need to sit there and be grateful and listen. And every time you speak about it, we let them do this, we let them do that. We elected you. It's time to stop trying to be the heavy and start listening to the community. It's all about the community. We can go deeper and deeper into this, but I'm not trying to make you feel in any kind of way, but you are making the public feel some kind of way.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. For the next comment, I forgot to do it before, so I'll take a deep breath. We're here, we're listening, please.
You paid attention in that class.
I did. There was a class we took last week that told me to do that, so we're doing it.
Hi, my name is Kiyomi Jones, native of Apopka. So I have really 3 things. The first thing is about the minutes. Just listening to you guys, I was online. Your discussion, it took more than 4 minutes just for you to get your thought across. So that should be kept in mind. The fact that it took you longer to explain your point than you want us to limit ourselves 3 minutes. And that was just reality. The second thing is, just like mamas, I'm really concerned of why is it taking so long for there to be an action to an employee who did something illegal. If I had an employee who did something illegal, they would be fired. I'm very concerned why he's still employed with the city after doing something outside of his abilities. That was the second thing. And then my third issue is, why do developers get to come in? I know they have like a planning part, but the developers do get to come in and have X amount of opening to explain what they want to come in and do. But I actually watched you guys last month, and I don't really approve of the new development that's happening on King. And I did see some of you guys approve that. And it does bother me because it doesn't come in any type of benefit for the community. And if you can just Google the amount of money that those communities actually make, and they will not be able to afford any of those garages that will be designed and planned there. But I guess we'll be here fighting that until, I mean, maybe they're paying people. You guys already probably haven't approved that, but that was my take on it. So yeah, that, I don't know if those my minutes. Was that 3 minutes? Or was that 4?
3.
3?
So you did great.
Yeah, I did good, but I didn't say a lot. But however, I do want you all to evaluate that 3 to 4 minutes, because it does take people more time to get their point across. I just discussed 3 things and I didn't even go into detail yet. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones.
Thank you.
Albert McKimmey, 3603 Golden Gem Road. The amount of time that a resident desires to speak is directly proportional to how good a job you're doing. So if I feel the need to speak for 10 minutes, it doesn't say much for your ability, does it? And tonight, there's been numerous occasions when commissioners have missed the opportunity to ask questions. That's happened for the last 3 years. That's why we're in the mess we're in today. Because you don't listen. It's us and them. We're no better today than we were a year ago when we were the peanut gallery. I come here and I try to bring solutions, but you never listen. Never want to know. Half the time your mind's already made up. It's time you guys listened. This man was right. We pay you. I'm fed up of coming here and being stonewalled. You direct the question in such a way is that once our time's finished, if we then hear something from a staff member, we've got no right of rebuttal. We can't say, no, that's not true. Our time's done. We've got to wait another couple of weeks. So here's the thing. If you guys are doing your job right, I wouldn't have to come here at all. I think it would be completely improper to limit 30 minutes to public comment, because tonight we saw that you guys can sometimes rattle through something and sometimes it takes a lot longer. You can never tell the mood that's going to be in the audience, and when one person says something, it can spark something from somebody else. We need the ability to speak to you. This 4 minutes or 3 minutes, it really doesn't matter. I had to start up a podcast channel simply so I can say what I want, and I could get 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or I can get whatever I want. I'd much rather come here and be reasonable with you and give you ideas how we could proceed and how I think we're making mistakes. It gives me no pleasure to go on social media and rip people apart, but trust me, I'll rip people apart all day long if that's what I need to do, because Apopka deserves better than what it had over the last 3 or 4 years.
Thank you, Mr. McKimmey.
Thank you, sir.
Sylvester, I really can't believe what we're doing. When we normalize the abnormal, we desensitize the truth to the point the truth doesn't matter. We're up here having a discussion on whether the public should have the right to speak for 4 minutes. To speak to you for 4 minutes. Make it make sense. We're discussing you only have a max of 30 minutes to come in here and get your point across to all the residents of the city of Apopka. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I want y'all to understand what's going on here. Make it make sense. And to some of you, I say, I ain't going to call you out by name, but do you have no shame for what you're seeing? We are the tax people. We voted you in to serve us. Now you tell us when you want us to talk, how long you want us to talk, and what you want us to talk about. Remember that, Commissioner Velasquez? Under the old mayor, he says we can let them talk, but we want to tell them what to talk about. And you second that emotion. Go back and roll the tape. I've been here doing this since 2021. coming to these meetings just about every freaking 2 weeks. And what I'm hearing now is just crazy. And you want to know why you get the tone in people's voice, Mayor? Remember you had a town hall meeting. Remember how decorum was? It was very respectful. Nobody raised their voice. You know why, Mayor? At that time, you made them think that you was listening to them and you was going to take care of their needs. So when you got to talk about decorum, it comes from when we coming up here as we the people asking you to do something and you give us your butt to kiss. And then what we supposed to do? Sit back and say, okay, okay. No, those days are over with. Those days are over with. You will be held accountable for getting my vote. I served 20 years, almost 21, and I could have died doing that. And you think I'm not going to hold you accountable? So when you talking about we the people, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, that's what I'm holding you to. And when you out there campaigning, you set up on the streets to listen to the people. You got time to listen to the people when you're campaigning. But when the campaign is over and you got the seat, you ain't got the time. Call my peeps, have them get in touch with me. I ain't got time to talk to you personally because I'm the commissioner now. I'm the mayor now. I don't have the time. You are here to serve the people. And my God, I'm going to hold you accountable to doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you, sir.
Um, Virginia Street Compassion of Apopka. Uh, I I come up every time to speak because of my seriousness about the mission that I have. And I also was one recommending or asking for one of the commissioners to make a motion to move to 4 minutes, and I was denied once. And then I came again and asked again, and I was denied twice. Whether what I see is that the developers don't have a time limit. The developers will have as many slide presentations, and I've sat here and watched, going on 11, 12 o'clock, and have denied getting my grandchildren in bed watching these presentations that go on. And the fact that we're having this it kind of burns me a little bit because if somebody's going to be negative in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, they're going to be negative too. Okay. It really doesn't matter. It comes from the heart, right? It's not the seconds on the clock. It's going to be from the heart. So every month, every time I get up to speak, I feel rushed. Okay. I feel rushed. I don't even feel like I get everything done that I'm trying to say. And even when I write it down, I'm like, dag, I didn't get to that part. Dag, I didn't get to say how much, just like Mama's has been an impact for me to be able to feed the homeless every month. I don't get to that part. That 1 minute would make a difference for me, and I get up every 2 weeks and I practice and I do everything. So for me, yes, the minute would make a difference. Okay. But if somebody's going to get up and be negative and try to slam somebody and try to be negative, then the decorum is the mayor has the right he's got the gavel. He's got the gavel. He's got the control over that. So I think that, the public has been asking and I have been asking. I think it's time that we do what we said we were going to do with giving some of the power back to the people as you ran with, and people believed it, and they supported you for that. So I think that's something that we should do, something small. It's not a big thing. We're not asking for blood. We're just asking to be heard. That's it. 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Street.
Thank you.
Rod Olson, 3156 Rolling Hills Lane. I spoke on it earlier, but there's nothing more important than public comment. People coming before you are the most important thing. The reason we're the people that put you where you're at right now, and we deserve the time. I am a regular presenter, as you know. Like me or lump me, I'm here. And putting it together. My talk this morning, or this afternoon, this evening, I guess evening, was timed between 2 minutes and 3 seconds and 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And I barely fit 3 minutes. And I'm a regular presenter. You go along, it's like, well, did I forget this? Did I add that? What did I miss? And I'm a regular presenter. And people say, oh, you do a great job up front. Well, whether I do or not, I really don't care. I'm trying to make a point. The 4 minutes, I think, gives everyone a chance. And I'm a regular presenter, and other presenters who try to collapse, is just Mr. Street just said, you try to collapse in that time, it's rushed. It doesn't get the message across. I think it's important to get the message across. On the other end, the 30-minute thing, throw it out the window. We are the most important thing you deal with. I think if you've got 17 people lined up to talk on the same subject, a brief comment from the chair could just be a matter of just saying, please, if you're going to do think, what else do you want to present? If you want to just come up and say, I agree with what John said, fine, and step back, but allow them that opportunity. Don't limit that time. It's valuable time. It's a precious time. And I think if people had a little bit more time, I know I can speak for me when I was 4, but the 4-3 cut off end of the meeting, that's all crap. That's behind us. Let's focus forward. What do we want to do now? I want 4 minutes. I do not want a limitation. Having department heads here. When I first started coming to meetings years ago, it'd be a question. I have something on the water meter. Well, someone from water would come up and explain it. Well, guess what? You solved the problem for 50 people in the community because one person brought it up. I think there should be more interaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak?
Okay. We had 3 minutes. People have time to speak, and they have been speaking. I don't see the mayor telling anybody. Case in point, this meeting right now. We're in the agenda item, business, action, or bullet point number 2. People came over here to talk about business situation that's going on and lawsuits and other things. This is why we have an agenda. Perhaps I recommend some training for the public and for the diocese because it's not being followed correctly. I sit on meetings, and many of the professionals here sit on meetings. This is a professional setting. We must behave in a professional manner. Somebody say 4 minutes will give people more time to be disrespectful, and we're making that is okay. No, it is not okay. We can agree to disagree, but we're not going to have this because the community does that to me, and a lot. I've been in this town for a long time. This is unacceptable. This is public. We have YouTube channel. People, the whole world can see us. The past administration did what the past administration did, and this meeting resembles that exactly what we don't want any longer. This diocese was actually elected to do the will of the people, and part of that is that we need to bring this down a little bit, or a lot actually, before the meetings went out to midnight. It's not necessary. The commissioners, now the members of this board, have office hours. You can contact them, you can call them, you can tell them what you need to tell them. 3 minutes has become a personal attack back and forth. This isn't the setting for this. Our city is in trouble. We're discussing actually conduct instead of discussing the business. We're behind between 15 to 20 years. Look around the other cities. Okay? Now, sometimes it's not good. A message is not popular, but we had to do the job and we had to do it right. Even though I hear that, oh, yes, we need 4 minutes to do what? To continue to displace this kind of combated. It's combated in here. It is futile, and it looks and it feels like we're stuck in place. Something gotta give, and it is your job, Mayor. You didn't. I gotta speak a little longer. No, because okay, but one moment. No, 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 because Mayor, you did not.
Please,
Okay,
please.
you had the gavel.
Excuse me. I haven't cut anybody off tonight at all whatsoever. I'm going to continue with that. Please, Mr. Hall.
Some people went
please.
over. And I'm going to just say this because I don't come to this podium often, but this has become a problem. We elected you, all of you, to do the business of our city. And Mayor, I was a little disappointed because I'm following this agenda. And when people come over here to speak about the issues in this agenda, it's about that issue. It's not about the life story. We must keep these meetings professional and we must do some training, including myself, because nobody's perfect, but we can do better. I know we can do better. We don't need to yell and we don't need to scream, but I would like to see some kind of a result regarding these minutes, and I would think it should be tabled and stay at 3 minutes until we actually reward ourselves with a better professional conduct.
Thank you, Ms. Sprinkle. Anybody else from the public wish to speak? I'm sorry. Anybody else from the public wish to speak right now? All right, I will close the public comment very respectfully. I will bring it back to the dais. Any final comments from our commissioners?
I do. I want to again make a motion to restore public comment back to 4 minutes.
I want to say a couple final comments too, but that
But
there's a motion made.
There's a motion on the floor.
I do want to make a couple final comments. I want to make sure, and because I know you don't only want to fix that, you want to fix the 30 minutes as well.
30 minutes as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna come right back to your motion.
Okay.
I promise you. I'm just if we can just final comments and then we'll go right to your motion.
Okay.
Any final comments at all? Otherwise, I'm
No.
gonna come right back to it. Any final comments? All right. I do want to say a couple things, and I don't want to belabor the history of where we've been, but it was 18 meetings that I sat in Miss Commissioner Barron's seat and having to record over and over and over and advocate nonstop for the residents, regardless of the content, regardless of what it was, to make sure that the public comment was heard. It was something that I've consistently fought for over and over. It's 18 different meetings I advocated for the residents to make sure that happened. I was the only dissenting vote on this 2025-19 resolution because I did not agree with the 30-minute cap and the 3-minute limit as well. What I do want to bring to everyone's attention as well is that Orange County, City of Orlando, other municipalities that are growing similar to us do have less time, which is where I think some dissenting or others that they bring that to the attention that because our city is growing, it does take more time for us to get business done. With that in mind, though, we are a city that honors our small town feel. And because of that, it's that intimate time with each other. I do want to correct a couple narratives that were said as well. This administration and this commission, the way it sits right now and how, since we were all sworn in, more public comment has been provided since April 28th than any other commission has ever provided between our workshops and public comment in general. So I want to make sure that that's clear, that public comment has never been more readily available, regardless of the content. I have given in a very strong manner because I'll never get off of that. We work for the residents. I have fought for that nonstop, and I've made it so much more available. I fought against the 30 minutes, and I'm going to continue to fight for that as well. There's a couple other small things within this ordinance I do want to scratch out limit, but I'll bring that language back because there's some stuff in here that says the mayor has the right to find a violation of this subsection in the event a person's conduct or speech is by way of example and not a limitation, duplicative, irrelevant, redundant, constitutes of a display of abusive behavior, or is otherwise causing substantial disruption. I don't have addition or a definition of irrelevant when it's speaking to the residents. I don't think it's within my power, nor should I have that power to tell people that what you're saying is irrelevant. My job is to listen to the residents first and foremost. So I'm going to be taking some of that limiting power that technically that was voted on that I voted against as commissioner. I'm going to be removing that language to clean this up to make it what it should be, whereas the residents come first and we'll figure everything else out from there. So, and the other thing too that the commissioners make $17,000 a year. I just want to make sure that's very, very well known. So yes, salaries are paid. It's $17,000 a year. If you break that down per hour of the time that these commissioners spend here, I'm sure it's less than minimum wage. So I get it. I am all for changing this to the way it should have been, where I advocated years past. I just want to make sure that it's well known the commissioners are working hard. Okay, $17,000 a year. I promise you, many residents would not be doing and dealing with some of what they have to deal with on times, and some stuff I put them through. It was specific to all the workshops with budget meetings and things of that nature. So, again, we've never had more public comment than we do now. I just want to make sure that is known because I know it maybe felt like we've quiet, silenced, or limited, but I've let people go over. I haven't gavelled anyone out. I think I've shown immense respect, as have the commissioners. They've not called a point of order or anything. So I want to fix that narrative that this commission is doing well. We are adapting to our changing city. So, Commissioner Anderson, I apologize for delaying your motion. I hear a motion that Commissioner Anderson would like to update policy number 2025-19 to increase the time limit from 3 minutes to 4 minutes per speaker and to remove the cap completely from public comment in general to the public comment section. If I may add something to it as well, in just that I'll be removing some language that limits what people can discuss or the power that would be that is currently in this ordinance. We'll bring it back for further review at the next meeting. Okay. So I have a motion. I will second that motion. Any additional comments there? Feedback? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
I don't agree with the 4 minutes.
Okay. Motion carries.
The cap I'm okay with, the 4 minutes I'm not.
I understand. That's everyone can have their opinion. So that motion carries 4-1 with Vice Mayor in opposition.
In opposition of the 4 minutes only.
I understand.
Because the cap, I don't have.
And it'll come back. We're going to bring this language back for final review as well, final discussion, final public comments to provide feedback as well. So.
Okay.
All right. Let's take another breath. We're moving on to City Commission policy for the appointment of the mayor and commissioners to additional boards. Mr. Williams, please.
Mayor, commissioners, Interim City Administrator Radley Williams. The item before you now is a bring back from the discussion at the July 30th, 2026 commission meeting, where staff was directed to prepare a draft policy for the appointment of the mayor and commissioners to additional boards. We've attached a draft policy for review and consideration, and I will take notes on any changes or
remember the one change I wanted to add. I don't see it on here.
Yeah, I did not add it yet, but Commissioner Anderson, if you'd like to bring that up now.
Please.
Okay, so let me, one second, because I thought he actually adjusted it then. You can discuss.
Would you like me to? Yeah.
Yeah, you can discuss it.
Commissioner Anderson, in her agenda review, had brought forward the possible addition of any TDT, Tourism Tax Force, or commission that is brought forward or requested from Orange County, that somebody from the commission be appointed to that.
And the reason why is because during the new person that was recently appointed by the mayor, I'm not sure if you know, she missed the last 3 of the 5 meetings. And that board is actually not is one of the most important board. I mean, that board has over almost $1 billion that is being given out. And if we need someone on that board to actually really, really, for one, advocate, I mean, that's a board that has millions of dollars. And when you talk about these special projects, that we received, was it how many millions of dollars you received for the amphitheater from that same fund?
13.1.
$13.1 million. So, and there's a lot of different projects that we can actually benefit from if we really had someone on that board. And when I learned that she missed, because I actually attend those meetings as well, that she wasn't there for 3 meetings, I'm like, whoa. I mean, I mean, there was no one there to really advocate for us at all. So I think it's more important than anything that we have someone on that board that really can represent us when we, when we can advocate for millions and millions of dollars. And someone missing 3 meetings out of 5, that's a problem for me.
For specific to the TDT and that specific task force, the Orange County mayor, some of the requirements in there is that it cannot be an elected official, anybody running for anything right now, anybody about to announce their candidacy. So they put in some specific requirements. What I would like to do at the
You
September
say it
meeting,
can't be an elected official, but there's elected officials on the board.
I'm telling you what his email
Oh yeah,
said.
there are elected officials on the board.
I don't disagree. I'm just telling you what his email
Yeah, it is.
to me said, that it
Okay.
couldn't. Here's are the exclusions of people that I'm
Okay.
trying to follow the rules on that one. What we can add it to this. I was just following what his rules said. What I do want to do though is that
or have rules for the person, because you put some on the board, they missed 3 of the 5 meetings. I mean, that's a lot.
problematic.
Yeah, that's
No, absolutely. And so that's what, similar to this city commission policy, what I want to do is create a list, and I'll ask the commissioners to do this as well, and we don't necessarily have to discuss this right now, but of some boards that we want to create, and also boards that residents can be appointed to, that they can apply for. That'll be on our website. So similar to this city commission policy, we'll create a policy for resident-led advisory committees, or committees that or appointments to different boards and other agencies. We'll do that same thing, as long as that's good with you guys. We'll bring that up, and if you have if it's like a Parks and Rec advisory board or things of that nature, we can create a policy that matches or provides that type of stuff. So well received. The only reason there wasn't an elected official, the email, and I'll get it
I get what
forwarded.
you're saying. Yeah,
He said it to it, and that's
and
what
it could be probably limited to how many can be on there.
and that
probably
could be it too.
Yeah,
that could absolutely be it. So well received, and that was it. We can add it to this if you'd like to.
I really do, because
And
I
that's
just think
fine.
it's so much money over there,
And
that
we can put some
tap
like
into.
barring any limitations, something along those lines, verbiage in there that says that as long as they're not stopping an elected official from being on there from our board, great, we'll absolutely do it.
Okay.
So well received.
Thank you.
Any other comments on this? Any other comments, guys? All right. I will open up to public comments. Any public comment on the city commission policy?
Rod Olson, 3156 Rolling Hills Lane. I sent all of you information before us, specifically regarding the CRA appointment. I think that all appointments are looking at it should not only be the expertise, but where there's expertise not existent, people with interest should be allowed to apply. Secondly, I also submitted language with regard to what Commissioner Anderson hit as well, the aspect of attendance. I submitted language to all of you regarding steps for removal of personnel because of attendance and other type of things that I think should be incorporated with all appointments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson.
Thank you, sir.
Sylvester Hall, Rock Springs Ridge. 2 real quick things. Mayor and Commissioner Anderson, I noticed for his rules or procedures, there was a difference. One say you can't have this, one you say you can't have that. Well, this was on the email. Can we get clarification on that? So everybody know what are the procedures? And also, if we're going to put somebody on the board, I would recommend they live in the city of Apopka. When we sending people to these committees and things like that, they should be a member of the city of Apopka. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. I do want to be specific. This is specific to our the boards we sit on. This is not resident-led board. So I just want to make sure that's clear. But that's well received, because that is something that we'll bring up and add that to our resident-led boards. Any other public comment?
Boy, this is the most I've been at this podium. Um, Case in point, Commissioner Anderson brought a great point. We're discussing everything except that as we speak, the TDT, the taxpayer dollars from the tourism industry, is sitting in accounts and City of Apopka is nowhere to be found. And we lost $20 million minimum because we weren't even in the room because the person was never aware. And when you sit in these boards, you need to have relationships with people. I live in that world. You have to work with everybody and you need to know what are the thresholds to get this money. We weren't in the room. We couldn't even compete because everybody who competed knew ahead of time that you needed $20 million worth of project. I can guarantee you, City of Apopka have more than $20 million worth of projects we could have come up with. But that didn't happen. So yes, she make a great point. That is the focus that I want to see.
Thank you, Ms. Sprinkle. Anybody else from the public?
Thank you.
I think Rod Olson made a great point that we're looking for people to mentor and to take part in boards at a later stage. If we only have people who have qualifications, then we'll preclude potential members later on. We should have a mentorship program within the city to help people, to establish them so that at a later stage they can come and they can run for commission or they can run for boards.
Thank you, Mr. McKinney. Anybody else from public wish to speak? All right, we'll close public comment. Mr. Williams.
Mayor, I do have a copy of that letter from the mayor. If you'd like me to clarify the language.
Sure.
Yeah.
Please.
The letter did ask or did qualify. As a reminder, the group excludes registered lobbyists, elected officials, anyone currently running for office or has announced candidacy for elected office, and representatives of organizations that currently receive TDT funding or may potentially seek TDT funding. So, and I believe that's because this task force specifically was the 2026 TDT Citizen Advisory Task Force that they were looking to fill. So I have copies I can provide.
And we can send that out. And then I believe they had requested us $20 million projects or more. We did send out an email to our department heads and said, hey, let's get some projects on the books. And if I remember correctly, the email came back of, we don't have any.
We did go with staff to kind of look into that. $20 million is a large project, and especially this is a very specified ask. It does have to relate to tourism and does have to qualify as a tourism project to qualify for these funds. So it was a large project ask that at the time we do not have.
And I will say it happened fairly quickly as well. It was a 1 or 2 week timeline, which is still fine though. But I will say the emails were sent. I will say that.
No, and let me just say that. So and to my point too is that's what we probably do need an advisory board in Apopka to put together, because there were projects that we could have put together. And if we're now, just say now, one of the things you recommended is that we do need to put together these different task forces. When something comes up, we do have a list of projects, because we do have $20 million of projects that are needed in the city. We just didn't have anything, ready to go, shovel ready. So I think that is something that we really need to focus on. Maybe in one of those meetings we can kind of talk about that, one of those pre-meetings before the meetings. But I think that we are definitely missing it. There's a lot of money that we can actually get, and I just think right now we're just missing the mark on that. So I really want to focus on making sure that we're capitalizing off of all available funds, so that we can can pass it on to the residents. So
and we're missing the opportunity on leveraging the natural treasures that we have here. I mean, we've got Lake Apopka Drive, which we've got hundreds, if not thousands, of people come each year. Wakaiva Springs, Rock Springs. We have people coming into our city day in and day out, and they don't know what we have here because we're not marketing our city well. And I think, if anything, Mayor, we should certainly provide a backup to the backup, to our representative who's going forth and representing our city. If that person can't make it, they need to give us at least 24 to 48 hour notice of, I cannot attend this meeting. Please please ask my backup, and have the backup to that backup in the event that that person cannot attend. We need to make sure that we're leveraging these opportunities. We're not doing that. We have natural treasures that people are always visiting us. And You see it on weekends when people are sending pictures or taking pictures of the lines in in Kelly Park, the lines in Wakava Springs. That's not just residents. Those are people that are visiting our city. Why are we not leveraging that? We need to do that. We need to find the vision for all three of our natural treasures. And that I haven't had the opportunity to review our strategic plan. I do have a copy of it. I just haven't had the opportunity to look at it, but that should be in our strategic plan. How do we leverage on the natural treasures that we have? How do we take the opportunity to tell people, hey, this is the city of Apopka. These are the things that we have here. Come visit us. These are the restaurants that we have here in our downtown. Come visit them. We have wonderful little local businesses that you can visit. You know, we just need to make sure that whoever's representing us in this task force is making sure that that's the message that they're providing, that hey, Popka's up and coming. We're going through growing pains, but we have these wonderful treasures here in our city that we can certainly leverage on. And so, yeah.
Thank you. If we can keep it back to us right now, please. For right now, thank you. I do want to make a reminder that this is specific to our commission appointments.
Yes.
There will be a new, and I think that's where we're gonna have a little more passion too with some of what that policy looks like for advisory-led or resident-led appointments or task force or advisory board. So, all right. Any final comments at all on this one?
Nope.
All right, then I will look for a motion to approve the city commission policy for the appointment of the mayor and commissioners to additional boards.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Barron.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Anderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next up, city investment portfolio update. Ms. Sherman.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. We have with us tonight our investment advisors with Morgan Stanley. We have Mr. Glenn Scott and Ms. Tricia Mingo. They're going to give you an update on our portfolio for this quarter and also an investment opportunity recommendation.
Thank you.
Let me, do I need to, there we go. Okay. Mayor and Commissioners, we want to thank you for inviting us here tonight to present the city's investment portfolio, and Glenn will give an update on the market and the economy. This is the city's investment portfolio at the end of second quarter of this year, which ended June 30th. I will start in the left-hand top corner. This is a summary of cash and fixed income current at the end of June. The city had approximately 149 million in cash, 33 million in money market funds, and 69 million in fixed income securities. The book value of the portfolio was 3.774. Moving over to the pie chart, this is a breakdown of the security type allocation currently in the portfolio. We have built a conservative credit profile with a larger allocation to government securities and money market exposure, prioritizing capital preservation. At the top, you can see your money market fund is approximately 2% of the portfolio. Corporate notes, about 2%. Your local government investment pool, which is the Florida Prime SBA, is about 12%. Securities in U.S. government is 25%, and your demand deposits is 60%, which is your bank accounts. According to the city's investment policy, your bank deposits are limited to 50% of the entire portfolio, so we do need to move some money out of your banks, approximately 12 million, which Blanche will discuss further later. On the bottom chart, this is the duration of the portfolio. We're a highly liquid, short duration portfolio with heavy concentration in overnight, which is your bank deposits, and we've laddered it out 3 years. Next slide is the listing of the holdings of the portfolio at the end of June. We had one maturity at the beginning of this month, Apple, which is your corporate note, that matured on August 4th. We are working to get that money and reinvested. Any questions on the portfolio?
Commissioners, any questions, comments?
So do we go back and renegotiate the different rates with the different banks? Like I know that one of the things that our finance director discovered is that and I guess you can kind of speak to this.
Yes.
So remember during the was it Synovus Bank? I think it was.
Yes,
It was
Synovus
Synovus.
Bank.
It was Synovus, correct? Okay.
Right.
So Synovus, you noticed that they was offering different higher
Rates.
yields. Can we kind of speak to that a little bit to see if they?
Yes, I had to go to Novus to get a cashier check, and I noticed that they were offering a higher rate than what we're giving to one of their customers. So I mentioned it to them, and I said, I'm going to be following up with you to see if we can increase our rate as well.
Is
So,
that something that you'll work with the investment?
yeah, of course.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
So I'll be working with them.
Okay.
Okay.
Gonna help us, get more money out. money out.
Yes.
So
And that's
okay.
any other questions on that?
So that was one of the things to make sure that we're capitalizing off of the best return. So
correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
I had asked our finance director, remember the question I asked, where did we start and
Where
are
did we
now?
start? Yeah. And Mr. Glenn Scott is going to share that information with you.
Thank you.
Joel, Glenn, should I just go ahead and jump ahead and answer the question now?
Please, yes.
Yes.
Why don't we do that since it's on the table? Okay, I think the question before us, just to be clear, is you're asking what has been the performance since the start of our contract?
Right.
Okay. So when we came on board in February of 24, you had an allocation of 60% of the portfolio at Synovus, 26% at Seacoast, and 14% in the SBA. And so it was all concentrated in on-demand overnight products. And there was a discussion that maybe we should diversify a little bit, take advantage of the full statutory power that you have as a city by the Florida statutes, expand the investment policy, and try to ladder out the portfolio a little bit to protect you against declining interest rates and also do a more rational matching of known liabilities to your assets in your investment portfolio. That's kind of best practices around the country for how that's done. So if we were to have done nothing since then, if you had stayed constant with that distribution of funds, you would have earned approximately over that period of time, you would have earned 4.35% on your investment policy. We slowly started moving securities out into the portfolio, so it represents a change over time, but the achieved yield was 4.47, which is a difference of about $580,000. The go forward now that we have a full implementation of those investment policies, for the next 12 months, would project at current spreads. In other words, what we're achieving now in the portfolio versus what was going on when we started is $670,000 per year on the go forward. So we're trying to use the power that you have and construct the portfolio rationally to protect the city's income potential into the future. That said, that's kind of a good segue into the first slide. This is just a quick shot at the current yield curve. So what we're looking at here is vertical is interest rates, horizontal is time, and this is U.S. government securities, the Treasury securities. And you can see that the darker green is the more current, and the lighter green is where we were a month ago. We've had this shift upward in interest rates across the entire curve. That's reflective of growing inflationary pressures. I'll get into a little bit more detail real quick, and I'll try to respect your 4 minutes. I'm going to try to do this fast.
But we're talking about the people's money, so I think we can spend a little more time on this.
But upward pressure on interest rates, and the Treasury last night or yesterday announced an operation to intervene on the yield curve. So I want to spend a little time. You might read about this or might get asked questions about it. it's called Operation Twist. And what the Treasury will be doing is it'll be selling more short-term securities, T-bills, at the lower interest rates you can see on the graph. And they're going to be buying longer-term bonds out 10, 20, and 30 years to try to flatten out the curve. And you ask, well, why would they want to do that? And the answer is because it's cheaper to finance the government in the short end. And also they want to push down the 10-year particularly because that's where mortgage rates are set. So this is a open market operation by Treasury, not the Federal Reserve. That would be quantitative easing, but this is a twist operation by U.S. Treasury. So that's what's going on if you get asked questions about that. And we'll structure the portfolio to take that into consideration. This is a lot of words and more than I want to get into, but it's there for you if you want to ask questions or just for your own, if you have some time to look at it.
Can you make it legible?
Can I make,
Because there's absolutely no way we could
we
read that.
resend this. I think it got blurred in the printout. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah,
Kind of
it
blurry.
your presentation, even though I've tried to
Yeah.
maximize the word, there's no reading it.
We'll resend
And
it
I
to
wear
you.
glasses.
Yeah.
There's no reading it.
So what you're looking at on the vertical here is effects on the economy of different scenarios, and across the top is these different scenarios. And I'll just summate it for you. What Morgan Stanley sees is a balance between two forces going on. There's some optimistic things going on with innovation and technology that is driving productivity up rapidly, and that's trying to push the economy to grow and to bring down inflation. However, the current pessimistic forces are dominating, and that's due to the wars, changes in immigration policy and how that affects labor markets, changes in how goods and services move around the planet with tariffs regimes, and a re-establishment of a bipolar world where everybody's trying to protect their supply chains and onshore their economic activity. That's all highly inflationary in the short run, and that's dominating. So that's the gist of that slide. I would also say that the probabilities, usually the baseline case, which is the middle column, is something where Morgan Stanley would see like a 60-70% probability of that happening over the next year. You can see, well, you can't see because the slide's terrible, but it's 45% right now. What that means is that we're in a period of time with heightened uncertainty in the economy and where things are headed over the next year, 2 years. And that's not a good thing. We want certainty. What uncertainty does is it causes people to be hesitant on investing money, hiring people, doing all kinds of economic activity that makes things happen. And this lack of certainty about where we're going is really a drag on the entire economy. All right. Be quick on these guys. These you can see a little bit better. This is just a real snapshot at where we see GDP and labor markets on the go forward out through the first part of 2027. We see the economy growing at roughly 2% pace, which is adequate to keep us out of recession, but it's not robust in the sense it's going to help with deficits and labor markets. And you can see in the lower right-hand graphic, that's the projections for labor markets going out into the future, divided by blue, private, and the gold color government employment. And it's about 50,000 a month, which is below where we need to be in terms of population growth, and we really would want to see that around 100,000 per month to really help people with wages and putting upward pressure on wages and people's earning power. So this is a not a recessionary economy, but it's not a robust economy. It's sort of middling between the two. This is just our inflation forecast, and I think what's interesting here is you can see the effects of the war on energy prices in the green bar on the right-hand side of the bar, which is more recently since the wars with Iran got going, and you can see the tremendous effect it's having on the inflation rates. And we hope that that's going to come to some sort of resolution, although frankly, it's becoming more and more pessimistic. I just don't see an exit strategy of how this war ends. And it could stay protracted for quite a while. Should it end, that would allow the economy to move back for the rest of this year and into 2027, back towards that 2% target on inflation, where the Fed would be able to start cutting rates again and stimulating the economy. But until that happens, we have a real problem with the inflationary pressure in the economy. I'll skip over this one just and get to the end here. So this is just our projection of interest rates. And in the short run, the greater risk is that we'll see the Fed have to intervene and raise interest rates to fight inflation. If we get into a stagflationary scenario where we have both rising unemployment and rising inflation, which is kind of the worst of all worlds, and that occurs when you have things like energy shocks going on in the economy. Central banks have typically fought inflation first and allow unemployment rate to rise. We can get into why that is, but the bottom line is you would see, even if there was rising unemployment, if there's risks of inflation, the Fed would likely raise rates maybe this year and early next year until that inflation rate starts coming back down. So I'll just end there. If there's any questions. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
If with this tax reform in November, if it passes, does we have any of our money invested in any funds that have any type of impact on the like, will that affect us at all? Is our money invested in anything that can affect what'll happen if something does happen in November with that tax reform, if it passes?
We're primarily in treasuries, and
That's what, yeah.
yeah. So we're not taking a lot of credit risk with your portfolio. You have a little bit of credit risk in your exposure to banks, but public funds in Florida are not only protected by FDIC, but when a city puts money into a bank above the FDIC protection, the bank is required to collateralize that deposit. So public funds, when they're put into banks, have special treatment, and that's to prevent a series of bank failures from collapsing local governments. So you're fully protected there. So you're I think, Commissioner, you're pretty well protected right now.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions? Dives. And then before we open up to public comment, what is the recommendation or the ask of what we are trying to achieve right now?
The recommendation is to move 12 million from Synovus Bank into an investment opportunity such as Treasury or whatever they think is appropriate.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Any questions for that recommendation at all?
Yes, Ms. Sherman. So the request is to transfer the 12 million. Is that to help with the yield that you were discussing through Synovus?
And also to be in compliance with our investment policy. Okay.
So our policy dictates, I think 50%, no more than 50%
And
should
one.
be
And
in a
one.
overnight account.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I know that we had an account with Seacoast and you said it was paying very little. Did we shop around? I know that we wanted an alternative bank. Did we shop around with any of the other banks in our city that are offering a higher rate, or did we try to negotiate anything with Seacoast?
We tried at one time to negotiate something with Seacoast and we were not successful. We can try that again, and we can also, shop around and see if anything else. But right now, the banks that are local banks, you remember the concern with the local banks is Synovus and Seacoast. And I think you mentioned to me that the one Florida bank no longer.
No, they were brought out, and I don't know the name of the new bank.
So they have
that
new
just opened.
owners or something.
Yeah, I just saw the name on their building today.
Okay.
I can't remember what it is.
So, but we can look into that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think
Because
that's
we
something we
don't
should
have-
stay on
yeah.
top of, as consistent, maybe once a quarter or something along those lines,
Yeah,
see where
because
our rates.
Yeah, I don't know how much we have it. How much do we have at
I
Seacoast?
think it was
18 million?
No, it's a little more than that. Though it is 18, Mayor. You always 18.7.
Yeah, that's
30.
that's a lot of money to be sitting there. with
18.
very
Yeah, we
little-
need to-
18, you're right.
Yeah,
That's
with
18.6.
very little interest.
To make sure we're.
I think we need to be as competitive as possible it helps us balance the budget properly without high risk and raising taxes. This is how we are able to bring more money back to the people.
No problem. No problem.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we will open it up to public comment then. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this? It's about the people's money. We have no public comment on people's money. All right. Well, then I will close public comment. Any final comments from the commission? Then I will look for a motion for the recommended action of moving $12 million out of Synovus and into the recommended investments from our advisors. Moved by Commissioner Ruth, second by Commissioner Anderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is the Floridian Town Center Hotel Major Development Plan. They're continuing it. I will open it up for public comment just in case. Anybody from public wishes to speak on this? I'll close public comment. Look for a motion to table the Floridian Town Center Hotel Major Development Plan to September 2nd meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Barron. Second by Commissioner Ruth. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have ordinance number 3167, procedures for Apopka Community Redevelopment Agency member appointments.
Ordinance number 3167, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Apopka, Florida, creating Article 9, Community Redevelopment Agency Board of Chapter 2 of the city's Code of Ordinances, establishing a policy and a procedure for the appointment of members to the City of Apopka Community Redevelopment Agency Board, setting forth eligibility requirements, establishing a vacancy and appointment process, providing for terms of appointment, oath of office, ethics training, and financial disclosure requirements, providing for conflict, severability, scrivener's errors, codification, and an effective date.
Good evening, Mayor.
How we doing?
Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Marlon Diaz with the Economic Development Office. The item before you tonight is Ordinance 3167, establishing procedures for the appointment of members to the Apopka Community Redevelopment Agency Board and codifying those procedures within the city's Code of Ordinances. This ordinance was previously came before you on first reading. It was pulled back at the time so that a business impact statement could be added as required, and that statement now has been incorporated into the ordinance, and all the permissions remain unchanged. So that was previously presented. Staff is bringing it back tonight for the first reading with that addition in place, and that's.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz.
Of course.
Funny quick story. I know it's late, but he wanted to dress up for this meeting and locked the door to his office to change, and then locked himself out of his office to not be able to get the things that he needed. So he was panicking right before this meeting. So
I'm glad you're bringing that humor tonight. You all get to laugh at me now.
Yes. Sorry. Any questions from the dais to Mr. Diaz? No. It's more of a formality. We already did approve this, but just checking the right boxes. So thank you for that. I'll open up to the public. Any comments on this item?
Is this the board that you appointed?
So this is specific to the community redevelopment, so the CRA membership board and how those appointments will be made. Keep in mind for that, because of how we designed the CRA and we being the city of Apopka years ago, it requires, the commissioners requires it for us to be on it. And then there's one appointment from Orange County and then one additional appointment that we can make. And so this establishes those requirements or that process to what that looks like.
Okay, the CRA board that I'm talking about, is it connected to the one that you appointed me to?
No, that's Brownfield.
That's Brownfield, but it's still connected into the CRA.
Brownfields are in CRA, yes, but this is different though.
Okay,
This is separate.
Yeah, that was a committee.
We're not referencing any brownfields tonight though.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else from public?
Just a correction on this page here. The ordinance, they have it as 3067. It should be 3167.
Okay, please reference that right after.
Yeah.
Mr. Hall.
I'm like Leroy, I just want to verify. So we talking about the CRA. I just remember from past history how we lost a lot of money because we didn't do our due diligence. So is this the same CRA board that we're talking about?
I believe so.
Okay. So moving forward, I would like to see a plan of action on how we're going to change that from last time, because it was It was ridiculous for almost 8 years. And especially the last 4 years, wasn't really nothing done. And we lost a lot of money. So the thing is, when we come here and we say we want to do the business, we want to be happy. But when it's time to do the business, it's time to do the business. And we got to make sure we do our due diligence and just don't pass over this. I would like to see a CRA director, which we don't have, which we definitely need, and we need somebody qualified to do the job. We don't just need to put people in positions. We need somebody qualified to do the job. That way the city don't lose out like we lost last time. And everybody came here, even then Commissioner Moore. She was the overseer for the county. And we had so many check and balance, but yet and still the whole situation was handled very, very egregiously. And so let's not do that again. Let's put the check and balance in there and make sure we have the qualified people moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. I do want to say we do have a CRA budget meeting
On the
24th. Thank you.
at the Apopka
Community Center. So I just want to make sure that's where we will be going over budgets, things like that, priorities. We can't discuss that right now, but I just want to make sure that is known because that is where we will be able to create a plan and priorities from there. Anybody else from the public wish to speak on this?
For the people who doesn't know, the CRA is money given by Orange County to the city of Apopka via our commissioner for District 2. That's what we are. $4 million is the minimum. Then I find out it could be more if we had somebody go ask for the money in Orange County. The other commissioners, they got projects and they got more money. Now, we got $4 million. We didn't spend any money because to make money, you have to spend money too. Otherwise, it goes away. So we lost that too. We bought $20,000 worth of garbage cans. That's the history of the CRA. It's money to be used in our downtown. It's related to the CRA map that we have here. It's for infrastructure, it's for beautification. Maybe we should focus on that now. And whoever sits on that board can really use and spend the money and go ask for a lot more money because there is money and it's been given to some of my other commissioner friends in other seats.
Thank you, Ms. Sprinkle.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Rod Olson, in looking at the document, it does not, I don't see where it addresses the aspect of attendance. I think that's important. Mr. Hall makes a great point. Of course, CRA may be the first thing that goes if, in fact, the legislation goes in that property tax changes in doing it. But I mean, having someone specific as part of their job or their entire job, as Mr. Hall recommended, would be focusing on that. We've lost tens of millions of dollars because we didn't spend what was there. That could be our downtown, and hindsight's 2020, but we need moving forward. We need to make sure it's not someone that's wearing three hats as it was assigned before. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Anybody else from the public?
Thank you, sir.
All right, I'll close public comment. I think that is well received. The having some type of attendance requirements built in some capacity.
Yeah.
I'll have to check the ordinance. I believe that is. I believe there might be some
I
language.
thought there was too, but it may
in
not
a-
be specific to this
I think-
board.
I think there's some in the ordinance. I'd have to go back and look though.
If not, I think there should be a motion made to approve this, but on second reading, make sure that that language is indicated somewhere in there.
I can go find that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll look for a motion to approve ordinance number 3167 at first reading with the update of adding or confirming that there is an attendance requirement and hold over for a second reading adoption.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Anderson, second by Commissioner Barron. All
And
those in
just-
favor?
Yeah, and just correct the page 541 where it actually says ordinance 3067. It should read 3167.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, with that change as well.
Okay.
So all those in favor say aye.
All right.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. we will take a 5-minute break.
Thank you. I was waiting to.
All right, we will resume. We are on ordinance number 3168, procedure for planning commission member appointments.
Okay, ordinance number 3168. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Apopka, Florida, amending section 2.3, advisory and decision-making bodies and persons of Article 2 of the city's Land Development Code, amending the procedures for the appointment of members to the City of Apopka Planning Commission, establishing eligibility and application requirements, providing for oath of office and financial disclosure requirements, providing for conflict, severability, scrivener's errors, codification, and an effective date.
Mr. Howell.
Thank you. Bobby Howell, Planning Manager. What she said. Any questions? So in summary, the ordinance proposes changes to procedures for appointing members of the Planning Commission. And what this does is the members will be appointed by the City Commission as currently the mayor, so shift from the mayor to the City Commission as a whole. Members may serve no more than 2 consecutive terms unless approved by the City Commission. It expands the list of qualifications of members. It states that vacancies will be noted on the city's website, social media, public bulletin boards, and other appropriate communication channels. Permits the creation of a city commission subcommittee and or the city administrator to interview potential candidates. It states that when the application period closes, staff will compile a ranked list of qualified candidates that will be forwarded to the city commission for consideration at a regular meeting. Commission will then, by a majority vote, decide to make the appointment. And that we recommended motion is accept first reading, move on to second reading and adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. And I will say the current chairperson of the Planning Commission did reach out and request that we do appoint somebody new. But I wanted to wait until obviously we got this process in place. So they're definitely wanting or having that need to get somebody there. So just want to let that know that this is one that's definitely needed right now, as they all are. But definitely a request has been made from the chair to make sure that they have a full quorum and an odd amount of members as well.
Is there something in there that addresses the absentees?
There is. This is the one attendance. So it's page 7 of the actual.
Yeah, that was.
So section 9.
Okay.
If any member fails to attend 2 successive meetings without cause and without prior consent of the chairperson, the planning commission shall formally consider the status of that planning commission position at the next meeting immediately following the second consecutive unexcused absence.
Okay.
So 2 absences that were not planned.
Okay. Thank you.
So it is addressed, yes. Any other questions, comments, concerns, feedback? All right, I will open up to the public. Any public comment on this one, Mr. Olson? No, okay. Kidding. No other public comment. I will close it. I'll look for a motion to approve ordinance number 3168 at first reading and hold over for a second.
So
Moved by Commissioner Ruth, second by Vice Mayor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, ordinance number 3158, the small scale future land use amendment for 4410.
Okay. Ordinance number 3158. An ordinance of the City of Apopka, Florida, amending the future land use element of the Apopka Comprehensive Plan of the City of Apopka, changing the future land use designation from residential very low suburban to office for properties located at 4410 Chandler Road and 4420 Chandler Road, owned by Richard Chandler, comprising of 5.12 acres more or less, providing for severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
Good evening. This is Dr. Jun Sung, planner at the Community Development Department. This is a continuation of an item for 4410 and 4420 Chandler Road future land use amendment from last City Commission meeting. There's no changes to the presentation from the staff. Recommended motion is to accept the first reading and hold it over for second reading and adoption. However, section 3 of the ordinance has been revised based on language provided by the applicant as provided in staff report. Section 3 establishes limitation of the use of the property, and I will defer that to the applicant for further details. Staff and applicant are available for any questions and comments.
Perfect, thank you. Applicant, please.
Good evening. For the record, McGregor Love, 215 North Eola Drive, here on behalf of the applicant. When we last spoke, I really had 2 large items of homework. One was to present you and the public with the language from the ordinance that would limit the development of this property to what we're proposing, which is childcare and childcare related uses, and that language is in your staff report. It's in the backup materials that are part of the public record. I'll read the exact description of the use from section 3 so that the public who may not have read it is aware. But this is what the future land use approval would restrict the use of this property to. It would be for childcare, daycare, and other substantially similar childcare or child-oriented uses and accessory or ancillary uses customarily incidental thereto. I know that's very lawyerly, but I think we can all agree that just means that they're childcare related uses. And for background, and for anyone who's confused about how we got here, this is a comp plan amendment for professional office. And the concern that was raised is, well, there are lots of uses allowed in professional office that aren't necessarily neighborhood supportive, like a daycare would be. There needs to be some protection in place in order to ensure that no development like that occurs, and that's what this provision does. So we're happy to put that language in front of you. The other item of homework is, of course, the access for Bobby and Jessica Sanders, who have been on their property, I believe, going on the 30 years. When we were last before you, I was able to tell you that we were well underway to reaching an agreement and understanding. And your homework to me was very specific. You said, we want to know that you have an agreement in place and an understanding of how this is going to move forward. You'll recall that on our plans that there is there's sort of a trapezoid at the northwest corner. Yes, northwest corner. The question before you was, well, we believe that this could be used to allow development of an access lane to improve the Sanders access, but we couldn't definitively say that. Since that time, we've done a significant amount of I've worked with the Sanders consultant, Mr. John Walls, who's here tonight and I know wants to speak. And we'd like to thank Vladimir and Dale from the city, who specifically met with us for, I think, about or maybe over an hour to walk through the history, the options. And then after that meeting, our engineer sketched out what would be an improved access aisle utilizing that 60-foot easement area, and showed that it was a proof of concept. Now, I won't say that this issue is deceptively, it looks simple. It is not simple. There's a lot of history here. I'll go through that really briefly just for your and everyone else's edification. 1993 is the year that the Chandler Road easement was put into place. That easement went from what was now Jason Dwelly, which was at the time, I think, a well-worn path on a dirt road. It extended around 2,600 feet westward, and then it went another couple thousand feet north to West Kelly Park Road. In 1997, that's when I believe that's when the Sanders purchased the property. And at that time, Jason Dwelly was still just a dirt road. In 2007, I did some historical aerial research, and that's where I'm getting this information from. That's when Jason Dwelly was actually paved. And at that time, the Sanders, Mr. Sanders and his cousin, they had an apron developed along Jason Dwelly. That was the first apron that they had developed there. At a later time, they had to put in a different apron just to the north of that. But it was still a right-of-way permit that they received from the city, and an apron along Jason Dwelly. And if you looked at the aerial or at that time, there was no Orchid Estates. There was really no residential development anywhere in the vicinity. And the problem started to occur in 2017, when the Orchid Estates plat was approved and put in a larger apron pretty much immediately to the north of the existing Chandler Road apron. And that's when this access issue really sort of came to a head, because it became a safety concern. I mean, there's spacing requirements for a reason. So we're tasked with solving that problem. As part of the Orchid Estates plat, there was a 30-foot access easement granted in this tract C that's immediately to the north of my client's property and the Sanders property. There was a couple of problems with the execution of that plan because, for reasons that aren't clear, the driveway apron does not align with the easement area, and instead is pretty much entirely westward out of the area of the easement. So the easement that we're dedicating is not in line with the existing driveway apron. So there are concerns that are out of our control. What we know is that if the Sanders can get cooperation with the city to line things up with their existing cross over the Orchid Estates plat, that they will be able to use that to and our 60-foot wide easement area to, if they choose, build out and improve a driveway access. And in the memorandum of understanding we have tonight, which we worked to get that together with them. We want them to know, and we want you to know that we are committed to this plan. It allows them access to this easement. It allows them the right, not the obligation, to improve it, to gate it. They can use it in perpetuity, unimproved, if they want. They have the right to use this area, for their access. I won't say that it's perfect because there are items that I've just discussed outside of either party's control that need to be addressed. But we're confident that the access that we provided is what we can do to improve their access situation. And I know that Mr. Walls, the Sanders consultant, did say that he wanted to speak after I spoke. He's not part of the applicant team, so that's a little unusual for somebody to come up after I speak that's not on our team. But I'll certainly leave it to the mayor and the commission's discretion if you'd like to hear from Mr. Walls now.
I think it would be appropriate only because I know that it impacts their property, and if
Sure.
that representation is there, and we'll definitely allow some type of comments from your side as well if needed.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, McGregor. John Walls, I'm a planning consultant with the NAI RealVest, 1800 Pembroke Drive, Orlando, and been working as a consultant, as McGregor said, with the family, Jessica and Bobby, who are here. Bobby's also going to speak briefly. This is a very complicated situation. We have the existing easement running from the Sanders property out to Jason Dwelly. At some time, there was an apron constructed on that easement at the end of it for their access out to Jason Dwelly. The developer of the daycare center has agreed to place a 60-foot approximately trapezoidal easement on the northwest corner of the property for access in the future to White Dahlia to see if that would work. My task was really to figure out if that works geometrically and what is the long-term plan for the Sanders property. Would they ever, if they ever sell the property, would this easement act as a appropriate driveway for their lot or for a lot to the south of them? If they were ever to subdivide that into 2 more lots, would that work for them? So we've asked all these questions, and just last Friday, the engineer that works with the daycare came up with a sketch that we have also discussed with the city engineering department that seems to work geometrically to give them adequate access, safe access. This sketch, which we've essentially agreed to between the 2 property owners, as something that'll work and provide their long-term access, will have to be done in conjunction with the city's engineering department because, as McGregor said, the apron on White Dahlia was put in the wrong place for reasons unknown. It's just a little asphalt strip that comes down, but there's a curb cut there. The curb cut into that road needs to be relocated in order for this easement area to work for them. The easement that we are looking at getting in our behalf is 60 feet wide, which would allow also for that road to curve and turn as it goes from their property, the Sanders property, to the north. But then as it crosses, there's a tract A that is a common open space that has a 30-foot wide easement on it. So we've hit that square with it, and then we turn into the road, which will provide a private access only for the use of the Sanders into White Dahlia. They're concerned about the privacy there, that we don't want people coming in there from the the public to use access to the backside of the daycare. So it would be gated in the future. And again, all that has been hammered out this afternoon in a memorandum of understanding. Mr. Sanders, Ms. Sanders have essentially agreed to that. The terms of it, we're still talking about some of the issues that are outstanding with the city, and Mr. Sanders wants to speak to that at this time. So with that, I'll let him speak to his concerns more particularly.
Thank you. Thank you. First, I want to thank every one of y'all for listening to us. That we welcomed this child care from the very beginning. We went to Kelly Park School, and we were assured that they would work with us coming into our community to build this business. This is the third from a city of Apopka. They provided us with a apron and a driveway. And then, you know, the issue of the gate being locked, his house got broke into. The city came out there, Richard Anderson and Robbie Manley, the chief of police, who was Ricky's cousin, and fully agreed that we both had access, but that the way we had it before was just for me and Ricky to go to the right where nobody else could use it. It was a verbal agreement. And that's where we're at now, is where the verbal agreement. And they're going to take away our road. And I'm asking that, you know, we're only going to have 30 foot to go into White Delia. You know, I was expecting 40 foot. You know, I thought that would, that's what we were going for, but I don't know if for some reason they can't do that. But the issue is that what they drawed up was Valamer gave me that from the very beginning. And if that would have been from the very beginning, this would have been settled. But today we got wording from McGregor and Camellia of this wording. And in the wording, my daughter, the school teacher, retired, Della Fields, brought it up on AI, and showed the picture, and it said that on this that we would be responsible for everything that would be, and they would have full rights over our entrance to it. And John assured me that that was not the case, that AI don't know everything, and I believe that. and uh, Camilla's home now, and she wrote me this afternoon and said that she's willing to work with me. They want me to sign the thing tonight, and I tell you what, I'm still for this child care, and I'm willing to sign this, but I want the assurance that, you know, the surveying and all the stuff, and I can put the fence up. Y'all would want a fence there, because I'm telling you, it's not the child care that you got to worry about. It's Kelly Park School. It's a circus in the morning. I promise you, a kid's going to get hit out there. They back into my driveway and back out, and it's right on a curve. Cars are going back and forth, and kids are going on the sidewalk. Cars are turning around. They come off of Jason Welly. They pull into my driveway and turn. You'll want a gate there, you know. And I'd like to put where this 50, 60 foot, I would like to put my fence and my gate there without, you know, it's wording that it's going to have to be with a subcontractor with what, you know, all I ain't gonna put concrete in there yet for that 50, 60 yet, because we're not at that point yet. My road, I want to be my road, that I can put a gate at my property and put it out there to where they put the apron in the driveway in, and I'm asking Apopka to do that. Yeah, and plus with the lawyer, we're on a retirement, and I'm just asking for Camellia and the city of Apopka to work with us on that, to where we don't go into a great big, because we worked very hard. We got 5 acres, and it's a dream come true. We paid for every penny of it, and again, every one of y'all, thank y'all for listening to us. And I'm in full agreement to signing this thing tonight, long as I have the assurance they're going to help us with this without throwing everything on us. That's all I'm asking.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Commissioners, do you have any comments on this? I'll say my feelings of this. Obviously want to take care of the residents that are here and make sure that they're taken care of. I guess, barring what where your feelings are overall, I think that we would want something, additional assurances, move this forward to a second reading, but make sure at that second reading that signed paperwork, solid commitments on both sides, that they feel confident that this is going to move forward properly.
Yeah,
But
if I may, I've driven past the Sanders residence, and I've gone down Orchid Estates, and I've seen that apron that was provided, if you want to call it that, and how they would be able to access, like, even our fire department, an ambulance, something would not be able to successfully enter their property without getting stuck. And so I agree, Mayor, in terms of I want to make sure that moving forward, there's something in place that we are taking care of this property, because I don't, I mean, I wasn't on the commission when Orchid Estates was approved. And obviously that consideration of that road and the residents that are there wasn't taken into consideration. And no disrespect for anybody that approved it, but clearly we are where we are right now because of the development that's come up around it. So I agree, Mayor, in terms of we need to make sure that we have something in place for the Sanders and that we're taking care of them.
Thank you.
So
Well, I've met with not just Bobby Sanders and Miss Jessica. I think we met twice. Well, I get to see Bobby in the neighborhood and we talk a lot too. But I did meet with the applicant and her attorney. And my only concern was to make sure that he had access to his property. We didn't want to landlock him. And you are correct, Commissioner Barron. When I took a ride, I've always seen, actually, Bobby has an entrance on Jason, and you have one going inside from Orchid Estates. But when I actually took a ride to the back of your property where there's a cul-de-sac, I never understood why those developers and the city didn't see or foresee the problem of they had already landlocked you on the backside.
And
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's a home now in the back.
well, this is a topic for another day, but we've explored that option too. It's actually an open space tract that could potentially be modified to provide them with direct right-of-way access. That's a little outside the scope of what we have control over, because it's not even the applicant's property, but it is something that I've talked with John about, and we're going to continue to look to see if that's an option for them. But just for the record, and sorry, I cut you off. Please finish.
No, that's okay.
Just for the record, what's before us is a memorandum of understanding, and it obligates us to execute an easement. So all of these details must be ironed out in an actual recorded easement document, and Mr. Sanders needs to have the assurance that what I'm saying is reflected in that easement document, that he has full right to improve it. It is his to use. It is his to use vacant. He can restrict access from it because it is going to be his drive aisle. And that's my assurance to all of you that that's what the easement document will reflect as well.
Will,
I know Commissioner Anderson. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so you said the easement document will reflect it, so we don't have a copy of it. I guess my concern is just listening to, and maybe this is something personal for me, because my parents were victims of developers, and they were older and they didn't understand what they signed, and it took the family a lot of money to get them out of a contract that they signed. So listening to Mr. Sanders, he had to put in AI. That means that he's not 100% confident in whatever it is that he is in front of him. And I want to make sure that when he signs that document, he's signing it with full confidence and understanding what he's signing.
Absolutely.
And for what I'm listening to, he doesn't really understand it because he had to put it in AI. So I don't feel confident enough. I don't. When someone sits and say they don't really understand, it's like he didn't understand it. He
Well,
didn't.
and I'll say that I share that concern. I by no means do I want to be an asymmetry of information or understanding here. His consultant John Walls has been able to. John is not an attorney, but he understands these issues, and we've been working hand in hand on each of these terms and what the easement will look like and the geometry. We've been working on this quite a bit since the last meeting, and he feels confident in it. And it's my assurance to all of you that that's, I'm here before a tribunal, and it is my duty as a member of the bar to be honest about what our intentions are. That applies just as equally in court as it does here.
Yeah. So intentions in what's written is completely different. There's always intent. You can have good intentions, however, that could be subjective, right? So I just want to make sure that it's something in black and white. I think so. We just had a workshop with a pioneer agreement where there was great intentions, right? And now it's possibly going to cost us millions of dollars because things wasn't ironed out. I think it's important that we understand what we're committing to, because when I looked him in his eyes, he looked at us and said, "I want a commitment from the city." Well, I don't feel confident because I don't really know what we're committing to. So I know for me, I don't feel confident with looking at him in his face and committing to him something where I really don't know. I have to, rely on an attorney, and you're probably 100% honest guy and having great intentions, but intentions and sometimes what happens kind of can be completely different. So I just want to make sure that when I'm, agreeing to something, that I actually have it in black and white and can really know what I'm agreeing to. Because right now I'm just agreeing on great intentions.
I understand your point. I think that part of the and certainly Mr. Sanders can clarify what he meant by commitment from the city. The biggest issue here for the practical redevelopment of this drive aisle is that there needs to be a city right of way permit to move the driveway apron, and that may have been what he's referring to regarding needing to work with the city, because I can tell you that that's something that we, John and I, have been discussing. Is that, well, there are three parties at issue here as it relates to their access. One is my client. The second is Orchid Estates and their Tract C easement, which again is half the width of the easement that we are voluntarily providing. And then there's the city, because White Dahlia is a dedicated right of way. If anything's to be done in that right of way, the city needs to cooperate. In fact, in here, there's language related to the intent of the parties, the intent of the Sanders to pursue an agreement with the city to move the driveway apron. That's all reflected in this memorandum of understanding.
And we don't know what that looks. I mean, we haven't spoken with the city. We don't know what that looks like. What it's going to cost the city. I just have the city committed to it in writing. We've already committed.
No, this is simply a memorandum of understanding between the two parties, the applicant and the Sanders, about how they're going to proceed.
But he's looking at us to commit to him because he said the city. And I just know for me, I don't feel confident because I don't really know what I'm committing to.
I understand. I do have the applicant has asked me to. Would you like to say a few words, Camilla?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Camila. I just want you to get to know me. I'm an Apopka citizen. I have been working with my family, a small business. We own Apopka Child Academy. We have been working for the community for over 20 years. We are no developers. We have just decided to open a second location to keep serving the Apopka Child Academy community. So when I decided to do this, I brought the paperwork to the city, and they told me that this was going to be an easy process. Just apply for a special permit, and that was it. Later, it's been a year and a half. We're self-funding this. The lawyer, I hired him because the city asked us to hire a lawyer because of the limitation. So it's been a lot on us financially, and I don't know if we can continue extending this. We have to purchase the land because Mr. Chandler cannot extend us anymore. So if I don't close and get a building permit, then I will be highly penalty. So I cannot continue to extend this. I understand all your concerns, but we also have to go through a special permit where you're all gonna see the plans again and everything's gonna get reviewed. So I just ask you to take everything in consideration.
Thank you for that.
you. Yep.
Any other additional questions or comments? All right, I'm going to open it up to the public right now for public comment. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this?
I was out for most of the conversation. But when we say that we're gonna move Apopka forward in a direction where people be beating down the bushes to come here, um, I'm just listening to the young lady and I'm listening to Commissioner Anderson. Both have valid points. But as we said before, there should be a standard operation procedure where everything that she needs for when she come here, the city can make an educated decision on is it gonna move forward or not. And too many times that is not happening. And I feel for her, and then I understand what we're saying here. But whose fault is it? And she's been working for over a year now. It shouldn't be that way. When I'm up here, I'm just standing up for right. I don't be on nobody's side. It's what's fair and what's right. And how do I make the community that I live in better for everyone? Not just for a few, for everyone. Because everyone deserves to have the same type of hospitality that everybody else wants to have. So we need to fix this. So when developers or anybody come here moving forward, there's a standard procedure, a checklist of what you have to do. And if that is met, bam, you move forward. It's just that easy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Rod Olson, and ditto on Mr. Hall. But I also, every about 3 days, I see Mr. Sanders at Northwest Recreational Complex, and I want him happy in process. So it sounds like maybe this needs to be tabled to make sure that we have those assurances in place before we move forward. I'm in agreement also with what Sylvester said is earlier with the aspect of having procedures so it's step by step. I'm going to step a little out of line here. A vast majority of our developers don't live in our city. They're very important to us. We need to pay attention to them because the development that takes place is there. But they aren't citizens. They develop and they leave. And that's why we have the sidewalk, the road problems that we've talked about before in doing it. But you've all talked about the aspect of slowing growth, metering growth, make sure it's there. This is an example. 3158, 3159, piggyback. 3160, 3161, piggyback. You should separate the land use and the zoning. It buys another month. It's more time to look, more time to evaluate, more time to make sure we're providing for metered growth. Most cities do that. We are very developer friendly because we put it all on the same agenda. We should move it and separate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Anyone else wish to speak on this? All right, I will close public comment. Any final comments from the commissioners? So there's two different routes here, obviously. Well, there's three. So there's one where we approve it, moving forward to second reading, but with the understanding that there needs to be certain agreements in place in our inboxes in the agenda item prior to us approving that second reading. There's a tabling of this one that we can do. Table it to the next meeting until we get that in the agenda, and then there is the option of denial as well. But I think it's on my end. The promotion of small business, the promotion of it's going to be increased tax dollars and revenue on our end, and I think there's a need for it as well. So I think there's got to be some middle ground to us serving both sides.
Yeah, but I think Mr. Bobby Sanders is asking, he's in agreement with the arrangements he made with the child care but actually what he's asking is the city. So I understand um the developer, but he's actually, I think it's our end now.
And so what you're asking from
It's
us,
our
is
end.
us, right? And so what you're asking from us is to grant the permitting of this easement, of
So
this apron, I should say.
I am not asking that, nor do I think I have the authority to
No,
ask for
but
that. I'm bringing it to your attention
gotcha.
because, to the extent that Mr. Sanders communicated accurately that maybe this was a solution that he would agree with, but it's not. He's not entirely happy with it. It's not. It's because of the situation as it is now from multiple angles and how development has occurred all around him. But as it concerns our limited ability to control the access issue across our property, which again is separated by a right of way and another privately owned tract of land over which we have no control over the width or access. I think that's the difficulty is that we can only grant a certain area of our property for an easement. We granted a wide area so that he could have design flexibility within that area, but we don't control to the north. We don't have the right to request the city for a driveway permit as part of our application because our property isn't adjacent to that right of way. So I think it's a complicated issue. So that was a long way of answering your question,
No, yeah,
Commissioner.
no, I think what I was referring to was the apron. The apron
The-
that is on Orchid. There's a request to put a 30-foot apron. Move the apron, the existing apron over. Is that what I'm understanding?
There, I anticipate so that to take full advantage of the the area that we have dedicated or committed to dedicating as an easement would require it to be moved to the east. I'm not directly making that request, but I'm bringing it to the city's attention to potentially explore that option because as it exists now, the apron is almost directly aligned with Mr. Sanders' property, rather than where it was supposed to be, which was entirely aligned with my client's property. So it needs to be moved to the east to take full advantage of the width, and it would be, I believe, safer, and that would allow for the design of the roadway that we've sketched out. But yes, that does need to happen. In the meantime, Mr. Sanders, if he doesn't want to build out the roadway, he'll be able to use the easement area unimproved or with a gravel, whatever sort of improvement he wants to make in the meantime to traverse across my client's property to access his own. But I think in the interest of his long-term sort of marketability of his property, yes, that apron should be moved to the east.
And I think the point to be made too is that that easement of where that apron is at is not anybody in this room's ownership. So it would have to be them that apply.
Yes.
So it's that process there.
So he's, so from my understanding is that, so he is looking for us to make a commitment to relocate the easement. Is that what he's asking?
I don't know that he's directly asking that. I'm sure that would be
For me, because we don't.
not relocate the easement, but the apron to be in line with the easement.
So we're not really sure. I guess it's a lot of unknowns. So I don't understand how. Maybe I'm confused. So if I'm confused and he had to put in AI, I'm not really sure if it's really.
Well, again, his consultant and I have worked on this very
I understand
extensively,
that the consultant, but he also needs to understand because he's the one that's going to be affected by it.
and it
I just need to hear he understands it because I'm.
Yes, sir. What I was telling you when Robbie Manley and Richard Anderson come out, I paid. Apopka paid for the first one, but we had to move it because it was in the wrong place. It was in the wrong place because we were going to share it. That we had an agreement with all of us that it'd be just me and Ricky use that road, the existing Chandler Road, for ours. And then when it become locked, it become like a prison. And I took the lock off, and it caused bad trouble. And what I'm asking is if Apopka will just take care of putting in the driveway and the apron on White Delia, and give me the, and they take care of the surveying to where I know where to put up my fence and stuff. And that's, you know, I'm not going to pour the concrete for my entrance right now. Don't need it because we're going to still use the 15-foot to go to our house and back. That's just right in front of our house. You know how it is. And so all I'm asking is we can put up our fence out there to where this 50, 60 foot right of way is, and they do the surveying and all, and 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 asking Apopka if they will put in the apron in their driveway. We this is our third one. They're taking our other driveway that we paid for, and with the city contractor came out there and did it, Phil Quinn, and and you can see the driveway. I paid, with me and Jessica paid for every penny of that, and that's what I'm asking. This is our third one from Apopka.
So you understand? Yeah, so he's asking for us to, the city to put
And that
in
does
apron.
change things a little bit
Yeah,
as
it
well.
does.
And again, it is on technically private property as well. So that does add a layer of complexity where we
Yeah.
can't just make that decision.
Yeah,
You have to table.
it got the table.
Yep.
Because you can't commit something you can't.
Okay, well, this will be the last comment,
Yeah.
and then we'll
Okay.
we'll kind of decide up here from there.
So just to clarify about all these aprons and everything, the existing easement that's called Chandler Road extends east-west at the north side of the daycare property out to Jason DeWelly, and there's an apron there that the Sanders paid for. City required them to put that in. That's the one where there's a traffic hazard now because there's traffic coming in and out of White Dahlia, and then if he's there in the driveway, he's very close to that access point. So at some point when the development was platted, they created a 30-foot wide easement to go over a common area tract that's within the right of way, or within the property of Orchid Estates, but outside of the right of way. They meant to put the apron there, but for whatever reason, they put it 30 feet to the west, put it in the wrong place. But he's been using it all these years. So now he's got two access points, one out to Jason DeWelly and one up to White Dahlia. So now whenever he decides to improve his property within this new easement area, whether he decides to build a dirt road or a concrete road or whatever he wants to do in there, he's got to come to the city of Apopka and get a building permit for that. But whether it's a fence, a gate, anything. But when he comes to the city of Apopka, they're going to say, well, we love your road, we love your fence, but your access is in the wrong location. And he's going to say, yes, sir, but I don't have any choice. I've got an easement here that was given to me over the HOA. I don't want to go back to them. I don't have to. So we need the city to agree at some point in the future to just relocate that apron to where it lines up with the 30-foot wide easement. And we've engineered this. And the developer of the daycare has engineered this to where it fits. We don't have to, and the city doesn't have to really do anything except agree to relocate the curb cut, which is in public right of way on a public road that was put in the wrong place. Doesn't matter who put it in the wrong place, but it's in the wrong place. It's not where the easement is. If in the future, Mr. Sanders comes in with a permit to do something or engineering plans or surveys or whatever he comes in with, we need to have the ability to say, we can't control that access point. It's been in the right of way. If they move it to where the easement is now, then we can do whatever is allowed in this memorandum of understanding. So again, he's agreed to everything. And tonight, the only thing that's outstanding is, will the city take responsibility for their right of way? Because we can't control that. We can't make you put that where it needs to be. You have to agree to do it. So that's all we really need in my mind. Now
because
is
we haven't
we
even.
need that some kind of a
Couldn't do
condition or a future development order, maybe between now and the next reading, we can get an agreement that the city staffs looked at this and said, yes, we agree that needs to be relocated at some point in the future.
Okay. I think we've got a good understanding. Thank you. Let us discuss it from here. Mr. Williams, I saw you speaking with Vlad. Is there any feedback or conversation from staff level?
No, just verifying with Vlad the image of the picture there. And yeah, the request is to move that existing curb cut basically to the east a little bit to line it up with that access.
So that changes things on our end, I would say. Obviously, there's a cost and a timeline associated with that too. So
we don't even know
if that is what the request is, then I would need that in the staff report. And that, I mean, there needs to be a cost.
If
I- recommendation, we don't know.
if I could,
Well, I'm good. Right. We've beaten this one to death, and it's pretty confusing. So it's multifaceted, and this adds another layer of complexity to it as well. So let us please at this point discuss it. So final comments from us.
I think we table it and we need more information because right now we're not sure what that cost is, and just I kind of listening to him initially, that was his concern, is that I know how can the city commit to something we're not sure if we can do it, and one, what's the cost of it, and I think we have to get with our engineers and our department to see if it's something that can be done, how much it's going to cost, what the time frame is. So we just need more information. So I don't know how we can make an informed decision and commitment without knowing all that.
Okay.
So
Any other final comments? All right. Well, then I'm open to a motion.
Mayor, can I briefly before another?
If I can, no, we're closed. We're gonna make a motion decision from here. So thank you.
So table. I make a motion to table
To a date certain.
to a what I'm saying.
The next meeting?
To the next meeting.
Okay. So I have a motion to table ordinance number 3158 in first reading to September 2nd meeting.
Right. And I second.
And seconded by Vice Mayor. Motion by Commissioner Harrison, second by Vice Mayor. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next up, ordinance number 3151. This is quasi judicial change of zoning, but I think please read it. I'll have Dr. Stone describe it, and we'll go from there.
Ordinance number 3159. An ordinance of the city of Apopka, Florida, changing the zoning from RSF 1A residential single family estate to O office for certain real properties generally located at 4410 Chandler Road and 4420 Chandler Road, owned by Richard Chandler, comprising 5.12 more or less acres, providing for severability conflicts and an effective date.
Dr. Stone.
For the record, this is Junson, planner. This is a rezoning item of the same property. Recommended motions retable for the September 2nd City Commission meetings.
Thank you. Any comments from the board on this one? Public comment.
Good evening, and again, for the record, McGregor Love, 215 North Eula Drive here on behalf of the applicant. I just want to say for the record, I know we're going to continue this. I understand that your consideration of whether to approve or deny our project shouldn't be contingent on the cost of a public works project that is off of our property. I understand that there's a lot of information thrown out tonight. We want to get our heads around it. I respect your decision to table it. We will make sure to address, some of these issues at the next hearing. But ultimately, we know that the 60-foot apron provides flexibility for this to be resolved in a number of ways. And again, it was tabled tonight for something that's entirely outside the applicant's control, and that makes me uncomfortable. But that's just for the record. I understand what your concerns are. They're good faith concerns, and we will come back to you and answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak on this? I'll close public comment. Any final comments from the board on this? I do want to just comment on that if it's costing residents taxpayer dollars, we need to look at it deeper. So if there's an understanding that we need to be paying for something, then we need to know what that cost is. So I'll look for a motion to table ordinance number 3159 to the September 2nd meeting. Moved by Commissioner Ruth, second by Commissioner Anderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Ordinance number 3160.
Ordinance number 3160. An ordinance of the city of Apopka, Florida, amending the future land use element of the Apopka Comprehensive Plan of the City of Apopka, changing the future land use designation from commercial to industrial for property located at East Kane Road, owned by HCH Development LLC, comprising of 5.23 acres more or less, providing for severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
For the record, this is Junson Planner. There's no changes on presentation and recommended the motion is accept the ordinance number 31660.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question in reference to the project that's going to be placed on this. How many jobs is it going to create for our residents, for our city?
Or default that question to the applicant.
Okay.
For the record, Tanner Calval, 2050 Classic Lane, Tavares. I'm filling in for Mike Rankin. It's a great question. It's a little hard to forecast at this time. The use itself is really rather novel. There aren't really a whole lot within the area that are similar to it. But it kind of speaks to what people were saying earlier. How do we leverage novel uses that don't exist anywhere else, so that we can kind of bring in people, and this would be one of those things where it's something that nowhere else in the state really has. So I've got a whole spiel, but I'm happy to just answer some questions if you'd like.
No, and thank you for that. And you're right. I did say that earlier. However, this area has historically been underserved. It's a food desert. It needs it needs a business there that would provide jobs, that would provide resources for the residents that live in that community. I agree. It's a great concept, just not in that corner. It could be somewhere else, but that was no here nor there. But my question is, I just wanted to find out how many jobs would that provide?
I wish I could give you a concrete answer.
That's all right.
It's difficult to say.
But thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Barron. Any other questions? No questions. I will open up public comment. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this?
I don't have a comment. I just like to thank Commissioner Barron for that, because King Road, it's really messed up down through there. You got dumps, you got medical waste, you got nurses, you got all type of stuff that when I was a kid that you could play down through there was orange groves at one time. Now it's like you say, it's a food desert down there, and thank you for paying attention.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Bell.
sir.
Anybody else wish to speak?
Sylvester Hall, the location that is in question, have everybody up here on the panel been able to see that location?
Yes.
Everybody walk the location, see the location. I made a proposal that we pay the commissioners $75,000 or half of what the mayor makes. You guys have a job to do. In the city, we get what we pay for. 17,000 is not enough. Most of you have a full-time job that you got to watch, and you got kids to take care of. It don't allow you the time to focus on the city's matters that I think in a professional manner. And so I brought it up maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, and I'm bringing it up again. I think all our commissioners, it's a stipend or whatever you want to call it, need to be paid $75,000 a year. That way they can focus on the business of the city, not their job, not this, not that. That should become their job. And that's what we need. We pay the mayor handsomely, and rightfully so. And I think our city commissioners, they deserve the same thing. And so when you have the opportunity, that takes time to go out, visit these locations, to really get involved and see what needs to be done. That way you can come back here and make the best decision for the city of Apopka. So I say again, please take that in consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you,
Anybody
sir.
else from the public wish to speak? I will close public comment and look for a motion to approve ordinance number 3160. Moved by Commissioner Ruth,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1 with Commissioner Barron in opposition. Next up, ordinance number 3161. Before we read that, Attorney Shepard, if you can just remind us of quasi judicial proceedings.
First, the important thing is that in quasi judicial, you're deciding the issue based on the code, not based on opinions. As you heard someone else say, we don't need opinions, but that's not exactly accurate. You do need opinions if they're expert opinions, and your staff is considered expert opinions. So I don't know what staff is going to testify to tonight, but based on the report, assuming that they believe that it meets all the criteria and it checks all the boxes, so to speak, then the applicant will have made a prima facie case that they should have approval for whatever they're asking. On the other side of it, if anybody comes forward who is an expert in their own right, a planner, a surveyor, a real estate person, somebody who's got a background that is germane to any of the criterion, that also would be constitutes competent substantial evidence. So members of the public, for example, having opinions that I don't like it, I think it's going to be bad for traffic, not competent. However, I'm a traffic engineer and I happen to live there and I'll be affected. Yes, that's competent. And the reason that's important is you can have competent substantial evidence on either side of the issue and choose whichever side. The example I always use to make sure people understand, I saw the accident and the driver A ran the red light. 3 other people come in and said, I saw the accident and driver B ran the red light. I can believe, if I'm the judge, either side, because I get to decide who's credible and who's not. But if only the drivers that say, I saw it, it was driver B, and there's nobody else, you got nothing else to go on except driver, those witnesses. And so that's what you're talking about here. It's not about whether you like the project, you like the development, you like the idea. It's about, did they meet the criteria under the code with evidence?
Thank you, Attorney Shepard. Mrs. Bowen.
Ordinance number 3161. An ordinance of the city of Apopka, Florida, changing the zoning from CC Community Commercial to IL Light Industrial for certain real property generally located at East Keene Road, owned by HCH Development LLC, comprising of 5.23 acres more or less, providing for severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
There's no changes on presentation. Recommended motion is accept the ordinance number 3161.
Thank you, Dr. Stone. Any comments from the commission? No comments. I'll open up to public comment. Any public wish to speak?
Yes, one question before you guys approve this or not. Have the 2 comprehensive studies, environmental studies have been done?
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Let me find out. I believe they were Mr. Williams. Phase 1's comprehensive studies, environmental assessments. Have those been done? Do you know on this?
So this is a rezoning and future land use changes. They will be provided through the development plan application.
Okay.
Luke Klassen, 1828 Engineering. Just to clarify, those will be submitted at the next submittal level, but those both have been done. We do have those reports that we can provide. Those aren't required as part of the rezoning. We can provide them to staff, but that's not a requirement. So I understand, no, it's not a requirement. For straight rezoning, for PD it is, but not for straight rezoning, which is what this is.
Correct. So this will be those will be provided at the next step,
Which is when
and
the
will be
code
in the
requires
report, which
them
is
to
what
be.
we've been doing.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
We will be in accordance with code, which is what keeps being asked to do. We are following code.
Okay. Thank you.
My friend Mr. Mo, he lost his wife due to negligence that he feel that the city didn't perform. So when we talking about when you get ready to put somebody on a piece of land that we know may have issues just from the sight of it, that's something that you all should have done looked at and say, okay, it meets the requirements. When we don't do these things, it's very simple, maybe simple to us, but sometimes it costs lives. And that's the point that I keep trying to drive home to y'all. A land study should be done on any type of development we're getting ready to do. Should be done. So we'll know if there's any toxins or anything else that should be taken care of before we put people in harm's way. That's very simple. And it's been brought up not once, not twice, but many times. And it's the public asking those questions. And it's wrong. I think it was a total of 12 people that died. It's wrong. So when I say when you're in a position to do that, that's why I want you to have the time to oversee these things and look at these things. That's the importance of it. It's too late when we say, sorry for your loss. Mr. Duran, sorry for your loss. To the moles, sorry for your loss. When it was a simple step that could have maybe changed everything. So please take that in consideration. I don't want to come back up here and ever hear we doing a land development and we ask, have the soil been tested? Shame on us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Anybody else from the public wish to speak? I'll close public comment. I think the statement that was made is that this is not the time in the development process that is required. It's getting done, and we have started to upload those into the agenda, which is why the packets are much longer than maybe my preference, but phase ones have been uploaded now so that everybody can review and make sure that per the code, it's in the proper order of the development. So unless we change our land development code to require that up front, that's how that needs to be done. So we can't put that in on the developer until we change that from our side. So definitely well received. So thank you for that. With that in mind, any final comments from commissioners? Then I will look for a motion to approve ordinance number 3161 at second reading. Moved by Commissioner Ruth.
So moved.
Second by Vice Mayor. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Commissioner Barron in opposition. City Administrator's report.
Nothing to report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. City Attorney.
Just that there is no update on the Amendment 3, whether or not it's going to be on the ballot. I presume it will be, but the judge has not decided. The Attorney General submitted the new language, but it hasn't been approved by the judge yet.
Thank you, Attorney Shepard. Commission reports. Commissioner Anderson.
Oh, I'll just wait the next meeting. I have
Nothing? All right. Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Barron.
Oh, I thought you were going to go down the line.
I had it listed.
Okay,
no,
that's fine. That's fine. Well, I just want to say Happy Potato Day. Today is Happy Potato Day, so I learned that today. So,
okay.
Apopka, Happy Potato Day.
Love that.
Just some tidbit. On some serious note, I do want to give my condolences to the Hill family and the Hill and Sheldon family. Mr. Hill lost his life last week doing a heroic act. His wife is a childhood friend of mine. And so they will be having a vigil at Jason Dwelly on Friday from 6 to 8. They ask that you bring a candle, but let's commemorate the bravery that Daryl provided that day. So my sincere condolences to the Sheldon and Hill family. And so I wanted to ask Mayor if we could do a forensic audit, but on the impact fees and credits, maybe within the last 4 years, just so we have that.
Yes, and I'm actually going to be referencing something along that lines too in my
Okay.
report. So what we can it's what the commission would like is we can put out, and this is what I'm going to discuss too, and I'll go in a little more detail on something I'm looking at as well. We can do an RFP for that. So we'll bring that back, bring language back for that, to review that. So absolutely.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ruth.
I'm good.
All right.
It's been a long meeting.
It has, but it's been productive, I think. So
My day starts at 4 in the morning.
Vice Mayor.
Long day.
Other than certainly offering our condolences to the family, the Hill family, and it's going to be at the Inclusive Park.
Yes.
That's where it's going to be held.
Yes.
It's this Friday,
Friday.
the 21st.
The 21st, this coming Friday. Yes, ma'am.
And that's it.
All right, thank you for that. I do have a few things I need to review. I'll do it briefly. I know it's been a long meeting, but definitely important things. No specific order, but I will be hosting, and we'll make sure it's noticed so everybody can join a, I forget the exact title, but it's basically an unhoused resource provider forum. Because we're getting to a budget to where we really cannot contribute to certain things at this point. We just are not in that space anymore. Can we do some? Yes, but we have so many nonprofits in the area and churches and individuals that want to help and are helping the unhoused or those that are housing insecure in whatever capacity that looks like. What I want to do, and we really need to start to make this big push, is to have all these groups come together, build efficiencies together, kind of check off the box of where they fit in the need of resources to where there's not duplicative efforts. So we'll be hosting that forum the 24th, September 24th, excuse me, at 6 p.m. at the Well. We'll have more official info coming here soon. It'll make sure it's on your calendars as well. It's just something to really bring the community together and see how can we build some efficiencies through the residents and nonprofits that are already doing these things. How do we just refine it and help cultivate that in our community? I'll address the hiring pause. I wanted to address that. I know it came as a shock to the commissioner, so I do want to apologize for that being a shock. It was unbeknownst to me that there's some security measures put into place on the IT side, and so I appreciate that to make sure that we don't violate sunshine law, that when you email all, it doesn't go to you guys. So I apologize for that. Even though we said all, I thought it meant all, but it doesn't. So that's why you got that slightly late. That please blame that on me exclusively. Again, it's a security effort for that. But the hiring pause itself is really going to help give time for us to apply to build out the proper organization for this growing and updated community. What I'm realizing, and I know it's taken some time and there's some frustrations on that, but I didn't want to come in as the new mayor and just start slashing and wiping out everything and changing everything until I really understood foundationally, where's our baseline? What are we doing well? What are we not doing well? How can we do better? And how do we update this to a modern city that truly serves its residents in a super efficient way? And so that's what this is going to do. What I've realized too is that, we need a community development director. So I wanted to make sure that's getting done. We needed a lot of departments to understand that they're not alone. We're working in a lot of silos right now, which creates islands, which everybody doesn't kind of see the full vision. And so the point of this is to create accountability, create efficiency and responsiveness exclusively for the benefit of the residents. That's the goal of this. And then I'll be able to present and you guys will provide feedback. How does this look? And I'll be able to provide why a reorganization of the entire city will help to build efficiencies, because some things that we've been doing just don't make sense anymore. It made sense, when I moved in the early 90s when it was 12,000 residents, but we're not there anymore. So we need to make sure we're keeping up with the growing city that we are, but still retaining that close customer service, the ability to just come into City Hall and meet with one of us if they need to in any capacity. So this is really going to help to provide that time and make sure we're not heading in that wrong direction anymore. So it's going to be a pause. Again, it's not a financial based pause by any means. It's just there needs to be reorganization. So many people feel, you can tell just again through my meetings, that they feel alone, they don't feel supported. So this is going to do that. Projects that we have and those timelines that we have associated with those, again, there's too many people wearing too many hats. So we want to make sure that the accountability, but also the resources are there for each and every person. So just want to provide an update on that. And then I'll be able to provide, I'm hoping mid to late September, what that reorganization looks like, make sure that the commission's on board, that it makes sense, that I can describe properly what a new city of Apopka looks like without emotion, without frustration. It's what we truly feel will build accountability, transparency, and efficiencies as we navigate this. So again, and it's not going to be perfect. So let me state that as well. It's not going to be perfect. So we need to massage it a little bit. I want feedback. We need to hear it and figure out how we move forward as a proper city. The next one up is, and I did speak to Attorney Shepard last week or 2 weeks ago about this, and with him retiring, we thought it may be the best time to maybe go out to an RFP for a new council. Attorney Shepard's office can still feel free to submit to the RFP if they'd like, but I think this gives the opportunity to see what else is out there, if there is anything out there that we may want to switch. If we don't, then we can stay with Attorney Shepard, but this will provide that opportunity. And the reason that I'm doing it this way is that obviously the charter has changed, so I want to make sure that the commissioners are on board with how we're doing this. I can't make that executive decision. It's up to the board. So as long as we're in overall agreement that an RFP can go out, it'll go out, we'll get bids, and it'll be brought back for final approval.
I'll let you want to
Please,
discuss
no,
now?
please.
Okay,
Comment.
so I think it needs to be, before it goes out, I think we need to have a longer discussion about what that looks like with the RFP to make sure that we're in agreement to what I would want to see it first, and we discuss what the pros and cons are before we actually put that out there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, just so as you guys start to kind of create a framework of what your expectations are, of what that looks like. For me, so we can do it. There's a lot of different ways we can do it. We can do in-house exclusively, but if we do that, it needs to be very specific and well staffed properly. I think one attorney cannot service all the needs of our community, so we need to make sure that it's not just exclusive savings, but we need to make sure that we have service in the right representation there. So there's opportunities to do many different things, from what we have now with Attorney Shepard's office, a whole firm that's exclusively out. I've heard that there's other municipalities that have kind of a hybrid role, to where, yes, it's a third party full firm, but somebody's in the office X amount of hours a week. So just think about it. We will bring back some type of RFP language, and then we can start to edit it before we submit it, so that there's consensus there.
So I guess if the RFP is for it would be for the same. What would be the length? I'm just trying to understand. So what would be should we decide where we're going first before we actually put an RFP? If we're looking
Well, I'm
for
going to bring the
in-house
language back
department,
before we submit it at all. So I'll bring it to you guys.
but shouldn't we decide if we're going to do in-house counsel before we put off RFP, saying that we're going to do outside counsel? I think
What if we do it as like a same conversation, have it all in one? So I'll bring back a rough draft of an RFP, but then go into, we can also, here's what we've looked at as a in-house counsel cost, build out the office properly, what this would truly look like. So I can do both at the same time.
Maybe we should do that as a workshop. I mean,
I'm fine with that. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
I think that's
Well, we need to make sure we're
detailed
comfortable with it.
conversation.
And again, because of the way the charter is as well, I want to make sure that this is new. So we need I want to be delicate with how we proceed with it too. So as long as we're in consensus with that, I'll move forward delicately to make sure that everybody's involved in that process.
Yeah, but I just want to be clear that I think we should have a workshop first before we look at language for RFP.
Agreed. Nope, no problem at all. Yeah, absolutely. The final one goes to an audit. I know you spoke specifically about the impact fees and the credits. Thank you. So yes, and then what I want to do as well is create one for our water billing, our tracking, our back bills, our over bills. Just a lot of question marks there, and our residents are obviously very frustrated. I see the social media where they just have a lot of question marks with the bills that they've been provided. And so I want to make sure that they're comfortable moving forward. And there's just been so many different changes, and we're changing rates and things of that nature. I'm not yet solid on those numbers. So I want to make sure that we are confident. We can tell the residents, if we are changing rates at any capacity, it makes sense that we're solid in this, that yes, it impacts your wallet, but we are confident that this is the best for the city. So let's discuss internally and kind of see if these needs to be two different RFPs, one and one, or we combine them, and I'll bring it back to make sure that, obviously, to make sure everyone's happy with the language, how it's done, and then we'll submit that out for approvals. All right, that is my long-winded way. So I am done. Any final comments? Thank you, everyone, for a very good meeting.
Thank you, everyone.